Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Shooting the Shelf, episode 9 of season 3. I'm Jesse Arnold, and with me is the always excited by the intro, Curtis Ackerman. How's it going, Curtis?
Oh, that intro, man. That Jeremy DeWitt is one talented guy.
Yes, he is. And I just noticed Stephen Bisciotti's head is nodding in beat to the rhythm, and nice. I wish I could say I did that on purpose, but I did not. Anyway, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to the show, to the shelf. Looks like we got a lot of folks hopping out there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to run through the who's out there, Curtis?
Sure. We got Dave Orkin, Rob Zamora, JG, Michael Morales, Steve O'Bag, William Harris, Stacy Lynn, David Williams, Tanya McCoy, Wholesome Warlock, Rick Emmert, Purple Gang. We got Joe Vasapola in the house, Kevin McCoy. So both the McCoys are here. We've got JMax77, Carver Customs. So both the Lynns are here, and Stephanie Orkin. So both the Orkins are here. And yeah, that's everybody so far. So,
man, who knew that this would turn into a family show?
I know, right? And you know what I'm noticing? Like, none of these couples watch together. They all like what they like in different rooms of the house, or what's going on?
It's double opportunity to win if there's ever a giveaway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you guys could just sit in the same room and watch it on one screen together, but okay.
They might be. Oh, man, it feels like we just did our show last night, but also like 3 months ago. This has been like a weird week, but we don't watch together at all.
So you got Orkin saying they don't watch together at all, and the Lynn saying that they are watching together. So there you go.
All right. Not pulling that one up. Well, everybody, so ZoloCon was last week. I got to help Len and the crew for that. And it was kind of a prep for MuskeCon coming up in a couple weeks, where I'll be bringing a bunch of the stuff out from Len, and Curtis and I will be running the Wolf King booth at MuskeCon coming up on March 16th. So we thought it would be good to maybe have someone who knows a little bit.
Well, and I mean, listen, I got to jump in here because I know I've been getting a lot of accolades for the work that I've done putting together MuskeCon. And I really do think that, I've done some good work, and it is going to be the Midwest event of the year now that we don't have PowerCon. But I can't take all the credit. I know, probably 98% of the work I've done, but there is a guy that's done, a good, probably I would call it like an ABF level, 2% of the work. And I really think that he should get some of the credit too. And I just wanted to give him a chance to come on and talk to folks. And, he's a little quiet, a little reserved, so bear with him. But Pete McCarthy, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
How we doing?
We are doing excellent. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. I just was using my amazing Cabal mug to choke down Curtis's words just now.
I don't think there's enough in that to get that down.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I have absolutely nothing to do with MuskeCon other than the fact that I'm going to go and have an amazing time because it is a great event that Pete puts on. And last year it was, I would say it wasn't the most Legions focused show, like as far as the show itself, but the after party was definitely Legions Con-esque after party. It was very much that family reunion kind of vibe. And this year I know it's going to be there's a lot more Legions folks coming. So I think that, it's really going to take a step up this year, in my opinion. And we can't wait to get into some of that conversation. But yeah, all credit goes to Pete. He's done an amazing job. So
I guess it depends on which Facebook comments you read, but yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get into that in just a second. But at the top of the show, we do something we like to call shelf selections. where Jesse and I have selected some photos that we saw throughout the week that inspired us. And we'll throw out some comments. And Pete, if you have anything to say about any of these, feel free to jump on in.
All right.
The first one for this week is one of my selections. This is War Weasel 83. Last week we put up the elephant troll that he did as a Battle Beast tribute. And this is another one of the Battle Beast tributes, and he is just killing these. This is Chris Brennan in the Cabal. And we actually got him. He's going to be coming on the show in April to talk.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, talk all things Battle Beast, and not only his customs, but just his love for Battle Beast in general. But yeah, he's been just killing it with these customs, and this is another amazing one. Where he's using mostly mythic parts, but then doing some combining of different things and some great paint jobs to come up with these Battle Beast tributes.
Whose head is that? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
Because that is an amazing sculpt.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen that head. I mean, my first instinct would be to say something Planetary Dog, because I know they do a lot of animals, but I don't know that I've ever seen that one. So that could be wrong. I don't know where that comes from.
I don't have any attachment to Battle Beasts. I mean, I remember having them as a kid, but as an adult collector, I haven't gone down that road. I would not have known this was an homage or a tribute of any kind. All by itself, that figure is 2 steps above fantastic. I mean, those shoulder pauldrons, that head, that's brilliant work.
Yeah, if anyone out in the chat knows where that head came from, feel free to pipe in. My first thought was Planetary as well, but like you said, I don't remember them seeing a saber tooth on there. I
just looked up the post and I don't see it in the post, so I'm not sure. But cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so
I love that he always puts the original Battle Beast, like the little figure with it.
Yeah,
you can see how much he did like spot on, and where he took some liberties and stuff. But yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, and I know we've got another Battle Beast fan in the chat, Joe Vasapolo. He's our inside guy trying to pull strings and see if if that license ever comes up to where 4 Horsemen have an opportunity. I know he'll be whispering some ears to try to see if they can give that a crack.
Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure somewhere last weekend at Zolo, Joe came up and all of a sudden he just pulls out this bag, and it's just like a big bag of like saltwater taffy from the beach, but it's full of Battle Beasts. So he made a quick round last week. So I think awesome. I don't know. Maybe I'm making things up.
The next one is one of Jesse's.
Now here's the thing. I sent 4 to Curtis, and he said he needed to find a new one because one of mine were his. So I'm curious to see which one of mine gets cropped out.
I think which one, but we'll see.
I was assuming it was going to be this one, but this is Corona 4. Our good friend Nate Strong, with some Joy Toy figures, and I just thought that was really cool the way he's got the mech suit in the background, like all distorted and blurred out, and it just looks like mid combat or like some like freeze frame from a cutscene or a movie or something. So
I'm in love with Nate Strong and have been for quite a while. Just an absolutely awesome dude, super talented, but just a great dude. So every year we've gone to Legion's Con, he's ridden with me, and it's so much fun to when you got 11 hours in a vehicle, you actually get to know people and you have real conversation. And every time I talk to him, I like that guy more. And he did this brilliant thing for last Legion's Con. We went the night before and actually crashed at his place, because that gives us about a 3-4 hour head start on the New Jersey trip. So we walk in. First thing he does, couple of ice cubes in a glass, puts a little brown liquid on it for me, and he's showing us his toy room and his photography studio. And he changed his shelves over to metal and inserted those little teeny magnets in the footholes of his figures to stand them up. Absolutely brilliant, man. And it just, like I said, he is such an awesome dude. And I never would have imagined toys building relationships the way that it has. And I know we've all talked about it, but he's one of those guys where it's like I've got another great friend in my circle because of action figures of all things.
Right.
And it's always so much fun with him.
Yeah, and he's another one of those guys too that like he's a great person and he's fun to hang around with, but he's also super mega talented. So it's like, you know, you not only want to support him because he's a great dude, but I mean, he puts out work like this. It's just fantastic. I mean, you've got that huge mech in the background that he blurs out. I mean, you like as an amateur, you know, myself or a beginner or whatever you would call it, like I would be like, oh, this huge mech is cool. That's going to be the focus on the shot. No, that's just the background. He just got it blurred out in this photo to really focus on the two up front. And yeah, just mega talented. And this looks really cool. Good job, Dave.
And further props, because the Joy Toy, I don't know the exact dimension, but they're like 3/4 inch scale, right? They're like smaller figures, right?
I don't know about the figures. I know the mechs are still pretty big, but yeah, I don't know how big the figures are. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Either
way, it's an amazing
next
shot.
One for me is the one that I stole from Jesse. I mean, I had it first before Jesse sent his, but I stole it because I was like, yeah, I gotta bring up and talk about this one. This is Tanya McCoy had done this Demon Deacon tribute.
Was that Wake Forest?
I believe so. That's the mascot there over on the right, and then the one on the left is obviously the one that she did, and she did it using Stephen Bisciotti's sculpt for the Ebenezer Scrooge head that he just did recently, and then repainted the Marley body. And this came out fantastic, and this is her first kind of foray into you know, customizing. She's been joining us in the customizing studio each Sunday, and spending a lot of time in there painting and asking questions. And I know she's got a whole lineup of different mascots that she is working on right now. So this is just the first of many, but yeah, she's right out of the gates just killing it. So great work.
It's absolutely awesome. And Tanya, I saw Tanya's in the chat. Like, this is an amazing figure. And I had to chuckle because I'm like, there are so many toy people that are like, where's that from? You know, we're not the biggest athletes.
Correct.
in this hobby.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, until you said Demon Deacon, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's a Purdue Boilermaker. Because that made sense in my mind. Color scheme is right. I don't know what a Boilermaker looks like. They could wear top hats. And I was like, that is so cool. But some of the sports reference might be lost on some of us.
Yeah.
What a cool idea to take, you know. So obviously Steven loves that Marley figure, and he loves the story, and he loves all of that, and then does that head because he's just in love with that. And then for somebody to take that and then create something totally different in that lines up with another interest of theirs, college sports. That's what creativity does, man. Those are the type of people we're surrounded by, and it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a few folks within the cabal that really do a lot of tributes. I know, just listening to, you know, Emil Wickman and Eric Miller, you know, typically they'll say that they'll see a certain piece and it'll remind them of something. They'll like it, just something triggers in their brain that they said that reminds me of X, and then they have this bug in their brain that won't go away until they make that thing. And that's kind of what happened with Tanya here. She saw that head and immediately this is what she saw, and then made it come to fruition. So that's just super awesome.
Have you has anybody ever been in a costume like that, in a true mascot costume?
I have.
I
was the idea box for Best Buy.
I don't even know what that is.
It just was a big Best Buy logo, but they called it the idea box because they went through this phase in the like late 90s where you could make suggestions to them. And so it was called the idea box.
I'm to this day, I'm still the only person to ever pull off a kickworm in the Viking costume at my high school. So,
nice.
And that I was the first one to ever wear that particular costume. And I don't remember what we were doing. A couple years later, I found myself in the same area as that costume, and it smells so bad. Like the only mascot costume I've ever smelled that was worse is Smokey the Bear. Like at our fire prevention open house, I swear
Yeah.
that thing's 40 years old and it's just like sweat and bad breath. It smells. It's like putting your head in a gym locker. Terrible.
Well, Jesse, I did steal your pick.
No.
Least I could do is let you talk about it. Go ahead.
No, I thought it was great that she finally posted it, because I haven't been in all the customized studios lately, just with things that have been going on, but getting to see the pictures and hearing her talk about it, I had no idea what the Demon Deacon was, and I'm like, why would Marley's face trigger that? So seeing the mascot here really puts that into perspective, and she did a killer job on it. Absolutely love it. And it's something I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't seen people doing mascots before, because I know there are a lot of people in the cabal in the community that do like sports. Because I've seen some people do like team colors, some of the the Mercurians to look like football teams and whatever, but just doing straight up the mascot, I think I guess Patrick Boyle's done a couple. He did the Gertie or whatever his name is from Philly, but yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, and Tanya, for your first one, this is spectacular.
Yeah.
Way to hit the ground running.
Wrong. So. Absolutely wrong. For your 10th one, this is spectacular.
Yeah.
For your first one, there's not words for that. This thing is awesome.
That's true.
Yeah.
And for anybody else out there, if you're wanting to get into this stuff, or you've thought about it, but you're like, I don't know if I can do this and that, jump in with us on the studio. Every Sunday we have it. I make a post in the Cabal. All you got to do is PM. We'll throw you in there. Today we had, upwards of 10 to 12 people in there, all painting and having fun and talking and sharing tips and joking around. And it's just a good time. So if you've ever even thought about painting, give us a holler and come see us on Sundays. So
yes.
And we always do it after 1 o'clock Eastern, because we try to make there's a little show in the morning. My wife is going to kill me show that some of us like to watch. So
I thought you were going to say
do
church.
That first.
I do want to point out, not to call you out specifically, Steph, but Tanya is not the first lady to make it on shelf selections. We have had quite a few on shelf selections.
Oh yeah, including some cosplayers and painters and everything. So,
but yeah,
this next one is Jesse's.
So I just have to assume that this user's name is Nose Rain, because I don't know how else to pronounce those letters together. If that means something, I don't know.
Nosarian.
Nosarian. Okay, Nosarian. There we go.
When you say nose rain, I just figure it's like somebody with a bad coke habit that has constant nose rain.
Well, that's what I thought. Is this is this a drug reference? I don't know, but I saw this picture of shocked Batman opening the Play-Doh lid with Clayface coming out, and it just made me giggle. And I just the lighting and everything is great. Like the boxes, I think are a proper amount of detail for like animated Batman there. It's not like super high def cartons in the background with like cartoon Batman. So I don't know.
Blair says Nose Rain is right. Okay. So there you go.
But I love just Clayface like coming up out of that, and the expression they picked for Batman's face it just made my day. And despite what this image shows, I did follow and like this picture immediately.
Dorklayer is so knowledgeable in these worlds. I actually gushed about him this morning on our show, just about how great I think he is. Okay, dad jokes on me. That was good. And I actually gushed about him, but like he says that Nose Rain is right, and immediately I'm picturing A Knight's Tale. Thus is my word, and is beyond contestation. Yeah. And I'm like, no, he's right. And I'm not going to Google it. He's right. It's Dorklayer. So
that's my favorite line from Knight's Tale, and I hope to use it someday. And I've never had the opportunity, but man, that's such a good one. Just who says beyond contestation? It's so great.
It's so good.
And just the delivery on that line. Oh, yeah. Such a good movie.
Yeah, I mean,
we tilt when you should withdraw, but that is nightly as well.
That is great movie. Yeah, I mean, this is an amazing shot. I like when, you know, photographers don't take themselves too seriously and they throw something a little fun in the mix like this. So yeah, just, you know, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of Clayface and Play-Doh together, but like you open it up and you look at it, you're like, okay, this makes sense. I get it. And like you said, the expression is just hilarious, and yeah, awesome job. So, and you know, not to be outdone by Jesse with his silly Batman photo, I had to throw in one of my own. This is Mantal Morrow with this photo of Batman riding Superman, which I believe was a line that Pete used, and my wife was going to kill me one time. Said that he was Batman riding on Superman's back, and here we see what that would look like. So, yeah, there you go. And I don't have much to say about this other than amazing, just amazing. So
just because I have problems with my brain, if you caught 1-6 shooter, the great Trevor Williams mentioned Korean and Kobe Bryant. Nose is Ko, and rain is B. So nose rain is Kobe, and that so Kobe is nose rain in Korean. I had to Google it because it would have bugged me all night. I wouldn't have slept. So
gotcha.
Thank you, 1-6 shooter in Google.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's killing me that this is like the Dark Knight Frank Miller Batman on Superman, and it just makes me think of the battle droids from episode 1.
Yeah.
On their little skim pod things that I don't know what they called. Some of my Star Wars friends would hate me right now. But that's all I'm seeing right now. It's just, you know, Roger.
Yeah, I've never seen Superman fly like this, but you know, whatever works. So,
and he's like literally taking bullets off of his chest as he's doing it.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So Jesse,
hilarious.
I got to ask you, when you selected your Batman Play-Doh photo, did you think that I was going to outdo you as far as ridiculous with a Batman photo?
To be honest, no. Like I don't like to think about what you're gonna pick unless I see something. Like I sent you the elephant last week, and you were like, "Yeah, I already got it." Because because I like being surprised by seeing what you pick. So like, no, I don't pick something like, man, I wonder if Curtis is gonna outdo this.
Yeah, and I already had my picks too. I thought it was just as I was putting it together, I was like, oh, that one from Jesse is funny, and I also have a funny Batman one, so just worked out. Or purple brain, as the kids say.
And so. I'm like the least competitive person, so like I'm never measuring stuff. So,
but good times, good fun.
Yeah,
check out these folks on Instagram. This is Manto Morrow. There you go. And this is one of Jesse's.
So again, this one initially when I saw it, I thought this was a Nate Strong picture when I first saw it. But this is No Fate _figures with an alien. I read that that in the song. But yeah, just the coming out like those big pod like helmets, you know, and everything. It makes the ones that on Mythic Legions look very sleek by comparison, or Cosmic Legions rather. And you know, the broken dome in the front and everything, just a really cool shot. Like it feels almost right out of the movie.
Yeah, I love the lighting on this. The smoke effect works really well, and then just like the way that it, like the light's coming from, like he looks like he's got a light coming from his hand and then another one off to the side, and then inside that helmet, like I can't tell what's going on. I can't tell if it's like a shriveled up human head or if it's an alien face or something else going on.
It's the face hugger.
Gotcha.
Wrapped around.
Yeah,
that's the light coming off the other helmet on the left there.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's just amazingly lit and looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about smelling like the inside of a 40-year-old mascot uniform. I'm sure this like if that was a real place, that would not be a pleasant smell in there.
Not good. My last one for the day is this one by Eric Miller, EM Customs.
Eric Miller coming out to
and
MuskeCon March 16th.
yeah, and well, speaking of which, this is actually one of the heads that he's bringing with him. He has been posting some heads in the Cabal as well as on his Instagram on stuff that he is bringing to MuskeCon. And this lovely lady is one of them. So if you are interested in this beauty, be at MuskeCon and it could be yours. He just does a fantastic job.
MuskeCon.
No, it definitely
this head's going home with
I was going to say, I will be surprised if this is there Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I look at that and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't understand color theory. I don't understand application. I look at this head and it boggles my mind that somebody goes from gray plastic to that. I mean, that's just that to me. There's a lot of great painters in this world. Eric Miller is next level, period. And geez, that thing is it's amazing.
Yeah, he does some great work. And, like I said, last year wasn't the biggest Legions focused event at MuskeCon, but Eric was there and he had some great stuff. He's coming back for his second time around, and I guarantee he goes even bigger this year. You got some other people returning. You got Steven that's going to be there. You got Alexander Deshaw, and you got a bunch of other new folks, as well as the Horsemen. So, we're going to talk a lot about MuskeCon on this episode, but this is one of those pieces that I absolutely wanted to highlight and just let you know the kind of talent and stuff that's going to be available if you show up to that event. So,
yeah, every time I see one of Eric's things, it's like I know where I'm at in my skill level as a painter, and I'm not one of those ones that just as an artist, like if you see other people who are clearly doing better work than you, they're like, oh man, I should stop doing what I'm doing. I'm never going to be that good. It's like, he's just in a complete, like you said, Pete, he's in a completely different like universe, on levels with this stuff. Cause just everything he does and is just absolutely gorgeous. Like if you told me this was just like a photo, they photoshopped some model's head onto the little gator clip there, I would believe you.
Yeah.
I like how you said gator clip. Some of us more delinquent high schoolers would call that a roach clip, but I get what you mean.
And the last one,
what was on the package when I bought it at the craft store.
The last one from Jesse is this one here.
So this is Major Reaction _IG. It's not Thistlethorn, but it is one of my next favorite characters from Mythic Legions, and that's Krotos teamed up with the Monkey King. I just thought this was a cool mixing of universes as these two characters came together for whatever is going to be like an epic, I don't know. It makes me, I know, say what you will about The Last Jedi, but the fight scene, as long as you're not paying attention too close to what the stuntmen are doing, is really cool with Rey and Kylo Ren at the end. But this just seems like an epic like martial arts fight is about to happen with these two going up against a whole bunch of goons or something. So I just really thought this was a fun picture. That
Krotos figure is one of my all-time favorites. That's of all Mythic Legions, that thing's top 10 for me.
Oh, nice.
I just absolutely love that figure.
Yeah, guess what he comes with, Curtis?
What's that?
A satchel.
Satchels are the best. That's some of the best people want satchels with their figure. Yeah, I love this duo. I love the fact that they're pretty much back to back, as if that they're getting ready to go against a mob of whatever.
They're getting surrounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
I feel like he leans in and he goes, by the by, do you know Praying Mantis? You're looking at him. Oh, time out. I got to get pumped.
Right. Yeah. Great photo though.
Yeah. It's like, I've been, Curtis and I talked about Blue Eye Samurai a couple weeks ago on one of our Wednesday one shots. I've been watching the live action Avatar. So just that kind of like getting surrounded by a whole like army of goons is just totally in my mind when I see this.
Beautiful. And that is it for shelf selections.
Hey.
Make sure, if you saw anybody in there that you liked, give them a follow on Instagram. It'll make your Instagram that much better. Every time you go into it, your feed will look cool with toys and be fun.
Also
And
makes you feel terrible about your own skill level.
well, it's not a competition, but yes. And then, once again, and I've said this numerous times in the past, but if you like shelf selections, check out Trevor's Photobomb. It's once a month, best of the month. He has other photographers on there, and they do something similar where they look at photos from Instagram, but they know what the hell they're talking about. So they're not just like, idiots like me and Jesse. And they can give you real actual insight to the photography aspect of it. So it's a great show. Please check it out. With that being said, Pete, let's talk some MuskeCon because we are less than 2 weeks away. And
that's terrifying.
Yeah. And we've probably got some folks out there that are in the Midwest, maybe haven't quite made that decision to come yet to MuskeCon. Let's sell them tonight. Why should they come?
So MuskeCon really was born out of a camping trip with Travis and Steven. And the year previous, we decided to start a podcast and sat there at the picnic table and ordered the stuff on Amazon. And we started doing a toy podcast and watching what these guys do. Like everybody kind of contributes to this in different ways, right? You've got customizers and you've got artists, and people do prints and people do actual figures and people do photography. And I wanted to do something. I wanted to contribute and be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. So I said, I'm gonna do a con here in Muskegon. So I put it together, and we like 1,000 people showed up, and I was kind of blown away by that. I turned vendors away, and it was a ton of fun, and it was super low key, and 6x8 booths. It was like $40 or something to vend initially, and over the last few years, we're going into the 6th year. We took 1 year off for COVID, of course, but last year we moved into the new convention center that was just built. We went from 5,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet. And last year I turned 25 vendors away. I couldn't believe it. And so for those of you that attended last year, if you can imagine a huge rectangle with 2 bottom corners cut out, those 2 rooms were a panel room and a gaming room. And there was artist alley up the center, and you opened up into a large vendor hall. This year, because I was just inundated with new vendors, we actually opened up both of those and put them as part of the main vendor hall. So we were able to add about 20 vendors that way. The original room, what they call the Lakeshore Ballroom, the original 5,000 square feet down the hall, we are going to have panels in half of that this year. That's also where the mythical meetup will take place Friday night, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But the idea behind MuskeCon was I wanted a family of 4 to be able to show up and get in for $10 to $20, and I wanted everyone to be able to see something that they liked. And the variety of vendors, from if you are a hardcore toy collector, there's stuff for you there. Obviously, getting into the custom side of things, that's starting to grow. But there are, it's 3D printed stuff. It's home. I have a couple of vendors that crochet nerd stuff. That's just super cool. The artist alley is people that not only do prints, but authors, both of regular novels, fantasy novels, teenage, what's that? There's a term for that.
Young adult.
Young adult. Thank you.
YA.
YA, young adult authors, comic book, artists and authors, game designers. Brian Donahue has been with me since the first year. He owns Section 28 Publishing, and he does not only a cool book series in a universe that he created, but there's also a tabletop RPG that goes along with it. So he actually made an RPG and then wrote a book series about it, and then redid the RPG after the books came out. And it's a government organization, so it's a lot of us played. I know, Jesse, I know you're huge into Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a different system, but it's modern day, and it's the world we live in now. But there is a governmental agency that hunts vampires and werewolves because they're all real, and it's super fun. And I read the books and enjoyed them. Like I said, I met the author and the game designer, and so next thing you know, there's a story about me and I'm a character in the book. And it's just like, these are the relationships that I've built, but you can come out and see them and you can see that, and you can buy the manuals for the books, and you can get the novels to actually enjoy and read, or you can get all the stuff that you need to run the game or to play the game. And during the course of our friendship, he unfortunately lost a leg from the knee down. And so he rebranded himself as the one-legged GM, and he's all over YouTube that way. And it's just, he's, and that's one vendor, one of 100 vendors that I can talk about literally for 2 minutes about the great stuff that he brings. And it's just a ton of fun. And like I said, if the idea was husband and wife and 2 kids can show up, it's $5 to get in. Kids 12 and under are free. So you got a 10-year-old and 8-year-old for $10, you get in. Mom, dad, both kids are all going to find something that they like. And I wanted it to be low commitment. So if you're just out and about, you had no intention of coming, but you found yourself in downtown Muskegon and you wandered in, and for $10, okay, well, maybe you didn't buy anything. There wasn't anything for you, but it was $10. And we walked around for an hour and got to see some cool things. And it's just continued to grow. And I've had a lot of fun with it. Planning being a con promoter is not always the most fun thing to do, but and you guys will see me. Thanks, Len. And you guys will see me before the show, and it's funny because all my whole inner circle knows this. I'm going to be losing my mind, and then about 9:30, the line starts to form. And by 10 o'clock, so last year to get into MuskeCon, it took us an hour almost to get everybody in initially. That's how big the line was. So
Wow.
that's like, holy crap, we did it, but the presence of, Eric Miller took a chance with me last year. Wolf King took a chance with me last year. Four Horsemen took a chance with me last year. And that was very nerve-wracking because there were people that were traveling a great distance, and I didn't know if the show was going to be worth it for them. So like when the Horsemen wanted to come back and Eric Miller wanted to come back and Len from Wolf King wanted to come back, I thought, okay, well, one of two things happened. One, it was financially worth it for them, or they had a good time, or both. And now that corner has expanded because now Wolf King Customs has a little bit more. I've got a little Jesse and Curtis area right there. Frank Lira is bringing his customs to sell. Next to him is going to be Dusty Staniford with his coloring books. So now I've got this kind of like one Retro Rags is on the other side of the Horseman. So there's kind of this long row now where there's a section of MuskeCon that's very mythic oriented. And that doesn't include My Wife Is Going to Kill Me. That doesn't include Tashi Station, Retro Re-Robot, which are vendors that are going to be selling Mythic Legions figures. I Love You Bigger. But yeah, so that's and for those guys to come back, that was a big deal for me because at the end of the day, if my vendors aren't happy, I don't have a show. So it's my responsibility to create an environment where the vendors have a good enough time, make enough money. I got to get the people in the door to get them to come back. If they don't come back, the attendees don't come back, and I don't have MuskeCon anymore. So
yeah, just give you a chance to breathe real quick.
Probably not breathing the best stuff.
I know, I've had lots of talks with Len. Obviously, the folks on the East Coast, they're spoiled and they get a lot of shows. Like, every weekend, pretty much, there's something going on out there. One of the things that Len always talks about is there's two kinds of shows when it comes to Mythic Legions. One is the very heavily Legions show where the people come in, they already know what they want, they know what they're looking for, they're into customizing, all this kind of stuff. And then there's really more of the educational shows, which is people come in and they see the Horseman line and then they go, what is this? What do I do? And, they get to see the product and maybe they buy one, they get one in their hand. And then the Horsemen go, okay, now that you've got a figure, go out and check these guys down the way. And they send them down to us. And we start talking to them about customizing potential and how that goes. And last year was very much that educational show. There was a lot of there was a good chunk of our fans there, our folks that like the Legions. But then there was a lot of folks that had no idea what this stuff was. And I know, one guy that we've seen a lot in the community lately, Schmerberberger, who got very famous on the Four Horsemen-ish o'clock. His first really foray into this was MuskeCon last year. And he came and he stopped by the Four Horsemen table, and he came by Wolf King, and he was asking me and Steven, like, what is this all about? And we helped kind of educate him on that. This is that opportunity to get somebody started on this hobby that we've all enjoyed so much, and kind of start to have them build that relationship with the horsemen who we all have loved so much. So yeah, it's just a great opportunity. So I think this year you're going to have, to your point, a lot of those same kind of folks coming back. And then there's still going to be that opportunity, I think, for new folks to, get that first Legion in their hand, show them the potential on how to customize and all that kind of stuff, and make some good friendships. Because I will tell you, just, from my experience last year, the after con was really so special. It really was like a little mini Legions Con. And for, folks that either can't make it all the way to New Jersey for Legions Con, or if you really just don't want to wait 12 months to have that feeling, that family reunion / toy show / exhibit vibe, this can really scratch that itch for sure.
And that was something I said on the show this morning when we were talking, and that's really the goal, right? So with the Mythical Midwest meetup Friday night before the show, I've got us a room, cash bar, be some snacks, but it's just basically a place to congregate, talk to the Four Horsemen, talk to customizers, and just hang out. If I could, I would love to make MuskeCon like the premier Midwest Mythic event. Like that would be the ultimate goal. And so we're dipping our toe in the water this year, and we're going to see how that goes. But I'm really looking forward to that. I've been inundated with messages from people that, there's people coming from all over the place to come hang out. Malcolm's coming from the UK, David Williams is coming from Arizona, and then so many people in between. I'm not even going to try to list them all, but and like you said, if we can create an environment where, hey, I can't get to Legions Con, but I want a taste of what that's like, you can come to Muskegon and you can be a part of that. Or maybe you've been on the fence about taking the trip to Legions Con. Maybe MuskeCon, you go, okay, if I had a blast at MuskeCon, I can only imagine what Legions Con is going to be. Let's get that on the calendar and let's go. And yeah, like I said, just the idea of being able to kind of have that. And like you said, it's about the 6-month mark, it's kind of right. It's kind of the, midway between Legions Con. So again, scratch that itch and get people involved. And I don't have any idea what it could be. Let's be honest. The dream would be, the first Legions Con I ever went to was during New Jersey Toy Con in a separate room. And, does MuskeCon become MuskeCon on Saturday, and then Sunday is an actual, we clear out the vendor hall and it's all Legions. Do we get to that point? Maybe. That's kind of a little dream of mine. I think that would be absolutely rad, but we'll find out. In like I said, the amount of buzz that came out of last year has fueled so much of what's going to be happening this year. And because of some people that for various reasons had to back out of MuskeCon, I was able to get some of those additional vendors in. And it's going to be good. No matter what, it's going to be a good time. And the Saturday evening, as dog tired as I normally am, it's super nice to just kind of sit and chill with everybody and get a bite to eat and have a beverage. And so that's there's some cool things happening. Wolf King is sponsoring the Mythical meetup on Friday. I commissioned Steven to do a head that is going to start as an exclusive, and that head is done. Len is actually printing those as we speak. Awesome. So for the first 50 people into the door at the Mythic meetup, free head. Just thanks for showing up. Again, sculpted. I heard it. I thought it was intentional. That was not intentional.
Man, that's a promotion.
If you noticed, I've been very well behaved these first 47 minutes. That was not intentional. For the first 50 people to arrive through the door of the Mythical meetup, you will receive a 6-inch scale. That's not better. But a custom head for Mythic Legions that was again sculpted by Stephen Machadi. And then oops, So,
Very nice.
Oh no, it's
also,
fine.
also, not only that, but there are going to be 5 Cabal Creations books available. We're going to do some giveaway stuff and some handout stuff. So huge thanks to Dusty from Dang Studios. And also, too, he's going to be debuting the cover of the Cosmic Edition at MuskeCon, which is awesome. I was really hoping that the Horsemen would have something to tell us, like as a surprise. I don't know if that's going to pan out, but maybe just a little tidbit. So, but
And I mean, regardless, just being like from the Midwest, being able to see anybody from the studio is a pleasure in and of itself. The fact that there's going to be some people from the studio, which I think last I heard it was going to be Jim and Jeremy Gerard, and
yep,
I know Trevor was coming. So seeing some folks from the studio, ooh, nice. Yeah, seeing some folks from the studio is very nice as well. And then also kind of seeing them in that environment, like being able to see Jeremy at a show that he's not running and he's able to just enjoy it is a different experience than seeing him at Legion's Con.
right.
Seeing Cornboy and Jim last year at MuskeCon able to walk around and hang out and talk with people and share stories, that was just really cool. It's a whole different dynamic.
They didn't sell a darn thing.
Yeah.
They were just there hanging out. It was so much fun. And I'm still to the point now. Joe makes comments and posts up and stuff, and I'm like I'm still a little starstruck by that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's funny to me that, like I said, these relationships that have come out of it, and the fact that they're willing to come to Muskegon and do this show, and they're selling product. Don't get me wrong. I mean, hopefully there's money to be made there, but they're doing it to hang out and see everybody, which is it's just super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was last year. I know. Sorry, Jesse. Just one more thing. Like last year, I know Cornboy was sharing with folks, stories from working with Mattel on the DC line and different things like that. Like that stuff that like conversations and things that with these guys that you don't normally get to have, and it's just very cool to be around that kind of thing. Sorry, Jesse. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it. Just I think it just goes to show how strong of a relationship that you guys in the My Who's Gonna Kill Me show guys have, and rapport that you've built up in. I mean, yeah, you talk about a lot of other stuff, but you've done a lot to really hype and promote them over the years, just because you guys like it so much. Like, and the fact they're like going to take that chance and be like, yeah, let's go out to this spot and do it. I just think that's really cool.
Well, and it's funny. I told the story this morning. We get a message from Cornboy last year, and he's like, "Hey, I'm at the Muskegon airport. You guys don't have Uber?" No, we don't have that here. So luckily, Mike Smith, great friend of mine, great friend of the show, jumps in his truck, drives over to the airport, picks up Cornboy, brings him back because he just figured he would Uber or Lyft or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's not a thing here, Cornboy.
Well, speaking of Cornboy, real quick shout out to Nate Strong, Bill, and Trevor for having Cornboy on Legion's Lounge last week. It was cool to get to see and hear from him again, and all the best. And when he called into you guys, right, a couple weeks ago. Was that your guys' show?
Yeah, he did. When I think it was when Pete was out of the room. Oh, you went to like there was a call or something. You had to go answer. And he called in from the hospital, which he's out of it now, and sounds like he's on the road recovery, which is great. We're all excited, and yeah, that was really cool seeing him on there with Nate and Trevor and Dorklair, and just being able to talk about Fantastic Four and all these new things that have come out while he's been kind of on the sideline, and how excited he is to see those. And yeah, it was good to see him kind of back in the saddle a little bit. So okay, well, real quickly, I want to pull up because we did promote this. We talked about it last week, and it was on in the Cabal. We do have a giveaway to do tonight, so I want to pull that up real quick. One of the folks that's going to be coming to MuskeCon is Carver Customs Brian Lynn, and he has this new Char 71 bot out right now. And this thing is freaking awesome. Like, I don't know if you guys got in on this or not, but it's basically this little robot. It's got a little antenna and arms. And then it's got like all these different arm accessories. It's got different topper accessories. And we found out this past week that the connections for these, like these arms, the connections that those arms go on the side of the robot, like the cosmic things will work in there too. So like the little cosmic guns and stuff like that. But that also means that these arms will work on a cosmic body. So like I saw a picture just yesterday, I think, where he had this saw that's number 4 there on your screen. He had that attached to a Sentry's arm. So, you know, you just get a lot of cool options with this, where you can put these arms on the bot, or you can put these on the cosmic, or you put the cosmic parts on the bot. So really cool. And we are going to give away one of these base body sets. This is the Char 71 bot. It is a tribute to his uncle, Charlie. And yeah, so we can start collecting that. I don't know if you've got a hashtag for these folks, Jesse.
Who's doing this?
This is Brian Lynn, Carver Customs.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yep.
So I'm not going to bring up the screen, but I'll throw up a banner. So just hashtag Carver.
There you go. And if you are interested, like I said, this is for the base body. But if you're interested in, you know, the toppers, the arms, or more of the base bodies, hit up Brian. I know he was working this weekend on getting his first set of orders out for this. I mean, this base body by itself, $30. You get the bot, you get the arms, you get the antenna. That now obviously that's unpainted. But yeah, it's just really cool. So check that out. And yeah, we'll do this wheel here in a little bit for this Char 71 robot and see who gets that. But once again, just another cool person that's going to be at MuskeCon. I know he doesn't have a table this year, but you
Why
know,
not? Why doesn't he have a table?
I think you had to turn people away. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'll find something for him.
Well, hit him up.
I always have I do a lot of conversation. I know not a lot of people know this, but I'm kind of a talker.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes I'll have conversations with people, and then they'll show up to MuskeCon. I told them I'd get them a booth, and I totally forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a couple. I always have a couple of oh crap booths, and maybe we can get Carver Customs into an oh crap booth, man.
That would be awesome. He says he's got a couple extra base body bots. So yeah, I mean, hit him up. Maybe that's an opportunity there. So I know he's going to be at the event. He's excited to, you know, hang out and see everybody. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun time. So, I mean, for me, I'll just speaking for myself, Pete, and I know you guys, you know, try to do the whole humble, I can't believe the horseman would come see us kind of thing, but you guys are pretty awesome. My wife is gonna kill me, guys. They're pretty great. And I'll say, like, the reason I came to MuskeCon last year, it was cool that horsemen were coming. It was cool that there was gonna be product and all that, but I couldn't wait 12 months to see them. My wife was gonna kill me, guys. It's too long. I needed a little fix, so to speak. So getting to come and hang out with you guys, it was a lot of fun. So with that in mind, I know you've talked a little bit about this Mythic meetup. So Friday night is also setup night. So how does that work with the Mythic meetup? Is the Mythic meetup after the setup, or
it'll kind of run in tandem? So
okay.
Setup is from 5 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll probably start the Mythic meetup probably around 7.
Okay.
And then kind of till when people want to leave. I'm working with the venue on that, just because we got to knock down times to make sure the bartender and stuff are available. But yeah, the idea is to kind of run them in, you know, concurrently. And then once we close down at 8, I'll be able to come over and actually spend some time with everybody and have a beverage. And so, yeah, so that's the ultimate goal. I have not hashed all of that out completely yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too is I didn't want to start too soon, because I didn't want to miss out on the whole thing because of setup.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wanted to give people time, you know, to come from Chicago, like get out of work at 5 and still get there and, you know, and be a part of it, not get there at the very tail end of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I have a sneaky suspicion spending time with Legions people that will probably be in that room till 10 10 plus,
Yeah.
just chatting and hanging out. And
then
I'm
probably
going
go
to let
somewhere
everybody
else.
know too. We're going to set up tables around the outside of the room. So if people have stuff they want to bring in and they want to talk about, or they want to show off, or it literally is just going to be, let's chat in whatever we want to do. So maybe a little bit of the like a trade style that they did at Legion's Con, along with a meet and greet with the horsemen, along with some giveaways and just general conversation and beverages. So
Yeah, and Saturday night last year was basically just kind of like bar hopping. It was, start at this place, move to that place, move to that place, and
it's a nice area, where the venue is right downtown Muskegon. There's plenty of different food options and plenty of bars and stuff to stop at, and it's all walking distance. It's
yeah.
very easy to get to and fro, and you literally can show up and park your vehicle Friday night, and you can walk everywhere till you leave Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is you head home. So it's a
Yeah,
nice
and
setup.
they had that one. I was telling some folks this weekend, they had the one bar where it was like attached to the like amateur hockey arena.
Yeah, yep.
That was kind of
So,
cool. I'd never even seen anything like that.
yeah,
So,
yep. So there's actually two, Rad Dad's Tacos, and I can never remember the name of the other one, but yeah, you can actually walk through a door, and where you're sitting, you can see out over the ice arena, and I think it's single A level, lowest level junior hockey. But they've had players there get to the pros, and it's pretty. The Muskegon Lumberjacks are pretty popular. So
awesome. Yeah, that's going to be a fun time for sure. So cool. What about intercom situation? I know last year there was a little bit of some issues with that. Is that we got that all taken care of, or are you going to be without a voice again this year?
Well, so when I met with them last week, they've actually outsourced all their tech. They actually have a group now that's handling all that. And apparently, because what I told them was, having talked into a microphone for a long time, and more so as a wedding DJ than as a podcaster, it felt like every time I got into the mic, it panicked and it went into limp mode. So I didn't blow a speaker. So I was like, your settings are off. There's something wrong that's telling this system that it's too loud and it's trying to protect itself. Nobody could figure out how to fix it. So they actually brought in this company, and the company walks in the very first day to evaluate the system and goes, those speakers are way too small. Do you have problems with people cutting out? And they're like, oh my goodness, yes, we do. The speakers that were in there, and that's not going to be remedied before this event. But they assured me that it would work this time. So, but yeah, that was a little bit frustrating last year.
Well, we've got a question from Nate Strong, and it kind of ties into another one I had. He says, please tell me you figured out a way to get that ice cream place back in. And I know some other folks have been kind of wondering, as far as food options, either at the hotel or around the hotel, what's available for folks that are coming into town that want to know where they can eat?
So there's a full-blown restaurant right in the hotel. So you can go and sit and have a meal. And it is, I personally consider it on the higher end as far as price goes. Like, it's an $18 hamburger. Now people coming from Chicago are like, shit, I'll get two of them for $18. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no food vendors. I cannot get them to break that rule for me. So no popcorn, no cotton candy, no ice cream. I pushed as hard as I could. I took it all the way up to the top. They give me something about their concession license, blah, 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 whatever. So no, I'm not allowed to have vendors, but in the main hallway right outside the vendor hall, there will be the snack station set up. So nachos, hot dogs, that kind of stuff, soda, soft drinks, and beer and liquor as well, a bar. So you can literally come into MuskeCon and you can walk around, you can get a hot dog, you can get a beer, and that'll all be available. And that's all through the venue. They handle all that.
Okay.
One of the big compliments that I've gotten over the years is how I treat my vendors. Because they are so important to me. We are going to have, if you're vending at MuskeCon, the staff goes around and they actually take your lunch order and they deliver it back to the booth for you. Just because a lot of times, especially solo, I mean, Jesse, you know what it's like. Curtis, you know what it's like running a booth solo. I have staff in place to cover your booth while you're gone for bathroom breaks. And like I said, we also provide an in-booth lunch option that people really seem to like.
Unless you're Jeremy DeWitt.
Unless you're Jeremy, well, whiner extraordinaire. You know what I mean? He's all over me about not texting him back about MuskeCon stuff, but we still have 9 heavy metal minivan videos he hasn't posted yet. I'm like, pick your complaint, Jeremy. But no, Old Man Kyle always complains too, but that actually comes from a place. We did Tulip City, one of the first years we did Tulip City, and Matt Rodriguez, who runs that show, got Subway for a bunch of us that were helping, and we ate, and Kyle was upset because he didn't get any food, and we were like, it wasn't for you, Kyle. It was for us, like that we're helping with the event. Like, you're a vendor, like it wasn't for the vendors. And he was still super butthurt that he didn't get lunch. And we're like, it wasn't your lunch to lose, Kyle. So yeah, that's been the running joke. But yeah, so last year what happened was the staff did the right thing by seeing that a vendor was in communication with a customer, and they went by them as to not interrupt, which was the right thing to do. But they had 2 people doing it, and they weren't sure who stopped where. So some people got missed, and then some people did make an order, but they didn't have that, and nobody got back to like the DeWitts and said, hey, by the way, we're out of that. Do you want another option? So this year they actually have a full vendor list where they can actually go and check boxes and make sure that nobody gets missed. So
awesome.
It had to be Jeremy. It had to be the softest of softies that got missed,
I'm guessing he's going to be there with some prints again. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
So I mean, he didn't fill out the registration form because why would you do that? But
gotcha.
yeah, no, he's a staple of MuskeCon and has been. I mean, that's really where I met him, and ironically enough, it was he's a friend's wife's second cousin, and she happened at a family event to mention, hey, you do art, my friend Peter does this, and some people call me Peter. It's still weird, my wife doesn't.
Oh yeah, by the way, I got a message from Len a little bit ago when he went to go super chat. Apparently YouTube does not let you super chat the word Peter, so that's some information for everybody to know.
Well, perfect.
So there you go. Oh. yeah he tried to say love you, Peter, and it would not let him. So well, there you go.
That's a name. Like, that's a.
I know.
In a biblical name, mind you. So
yeah.
We do have Lord Stephen Bishotti in the house,
which is kind of funny because now everybody knows. Earlier when I posted how great I was, and then I said this is Steve from the podcast. Now everybody knows it was me. So.
And yes, a couple people are asking. Yes, we do have a giveaway going on right now. It is #Carver, and that is for this Char 71 bot that they just did the pre-order for last weekend. So he's got a couple extra available. He had us do a giveaway last week and another one this week. So if you're interested in that, put in that hashtag, and we'll pull that here in just a few minutes.
I feel like such a jerk that I didn't know that was him. Like I don't know how I missed that. So.
And make sure you're spelling it right, folks. It is Karvar, Carvar.
Yep.
Not Carver.
And we've got a Loyu Pedro. So instead of love you, Peter.
These people understand I don't get this money, right? Do I need to put like my Venmo up there? Like, no, that's awesome.
That's all right, because apparently you don't get
all
the super chat money from my wife is going to kill me either.
We do. We just don't have access to it.
Sorry, I'm going to start sending all the super chat stuff we get to Curtis, and that's just going to fund his super chats to you guys. So eventually it doesn't come to you in a different way.
If so facto, right?
It's like money laundering.
Right.
What kind of detergent do you use on that? Is that like a powder or a liquid?
I'm not sure. Not sure. So what else going on, Pete? I mean, obviously this has been taking up a lot of your time getting ready for the event, but
probably not as much as it should have.
I mean, but you got other stuff going on. You had a big wedding recently. You had I heard you had a dance that you had, and tell us what's going on in the life of Peter.
Okay, so this daddy-daughter dance, we got to talk about this. So I mentioned earlier I'm a wedding DJ. So I've DJ'd a ton of the school dances for the kids, and I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. Like these high school dances, this music sucks, man. It's terrible. you know. So I get in the groove, right? I'm doing a wedding, and come on, I'm Love Shack and Sister Sledge. We are family, and we're doing our thing, and we're Cupid shuffling, and it's fun, right? And I go to these high school dances, and my daughter makes this playlist, and I'm like, this is full of it's is it trap music? Is that what they call it? And
Yep.
I'm just like, I'm like, it just sucks. Like you can't dance to it. And so I'm like, I want out. Like I want to be done with this. I'm not doing these junior high school dances. I'm not doing the daddy daughter dance. I'm done. I don't want to carry this crap around anymore. So I get with the school and I said, listen, what you guys are paying me 4 dances, I can show you what equipment to buy, and then the school just owns it. And now because every dance is a fundraiser for something, right?
Right.
I'm like, and I started doing them pro bono after a while because I'm just like, it's a fundraiser for student council. Like I'm not going to bilk these people out of $250. So I'm like, you can buy the equipment, the entire school district can use it, and you do 4 dances and it's paid for. So I did that. We go to the daddy daughter dance, and it's the equipment that I spec'd out for them. And they got these high schoolers running it, and I just bitched the entire night about how terrible the DJ was. Because I'm like, I'm that guy now where I was like, seriously, that's the second time you've played Gangnam Style. You don't ever duplicate. There was huge spaces in between the songs while they figured out what the next one was. 9, count them, almost 2 full hands, 9 Taylor Swift songs. Not one of them was Shake It Off. Name one Taylor Swift song that's better to dance to than Shake It Off. You kidding me? So finally I hear a beat and I'm like, oh, this is my jam. And I realize it's Burn by Usher. And I'm like, that's on my baby making music playlist. Why are you playing this? Again, of the Usher songs, DJ Got Us Falling in Love Again. You could have even dropped Yeah in there and I would have been okay. But Burn? So, and then they played another Usher song and it was My Boo. I'm like, what are you going to drop Confessions Part 2? Let's talk about an extramarital affair in front of all these elementary school girls. Then they did a sea shanty. And I was like, what in the hell are you guys doing? And it was really stressful because I was like, I totally got out of this because I didn't want to deal with it. And then I totally just crapped on those high school kids all night long about their terrible music selection. So, but I mean, like, it's elementary girls, right? Hit me with some Pharrell Happy. Hit me with Can't Stop the Feeling, Justin Timberlake. Like, give me some Miley Cyrus, USA, like the Party in the USA. Let's do it. So then Cupid Shuffle comes on. I said, all right, boys, cool. All right, we got it. Cupid Shuffle, right?
Yeah.
So I'm dancing with my daughter, and I look, oh, screw you, Steve. And so, I don't know, Steve, these were men that were doing this, man. So Cupid Shuffle goes, and nobody starts soon enough. They all wait for the instructions, right? They won't start dancing, but if you hit it at the right beat, you can be in sync. So I'm dancing with my daughter, and nobody is doing the 90-degree turn. They're all staying facing the DJ. Finally, I got fed up and I jumped in front of the crowd. I grabbed my daughter. I said, here we go. And I said, all right, everybody. And to the right. And I coached them all through it. A bunch of white dads. They don't got rhythm. So I coached them through it. Now we got to turn. And the whole group then would turn. And I had to coach them through the Cupid Shuffle. I'm like, it's right in the song, guys. You just got to walk it all around. It's 90 degrees. It's not hard. But anyways, yeah. So
imagine you jumping in and taking charge. That's shocking.
Yeah, and luckily I had my dancing shoes on, man. I was running my I don't know if you guys saw my Facebook post.
Oh yeah, your Steak and Shake shoes.
Schools. Yeah. So wife bought those for me for Christmas. So, but no, we've been my daughter that got married in October is having a baby, which is super exciting, and she's due September 19th. And man, baby stuff is so adorable. Like for instance. I got this at a gas station. I don't know if you guys ever been to a Buc-ee's before, but that place is mind blowing. 120 gas pumps. They were all full. There was a traffic circle in the driveway. And I bought this. This is a warmie, and you put it in the microwave, and it heats up for the baby, and then it smells like lavender. And I was like, my grandbaby needs that. So, that's. We got piles of baby stuff everywhere. Like I don't know what we're gonna do because everything's so adorable. But yeah, man.
So you're gonna be one of those softy grandpas, huh?
Oh yeah. So I did back when I was doing stand-up comedy more. A guy named Russell Cairns the king of the one-liner. I mean, he would do 25 minutes. They were all just one-liner jokes. He just crushed it. And one of the ones that he always did was he's like, so I got a 4-year-old son, and what I realized when I had a baby that my dad had written a book. I didn't know this about him, but he wrote a book called Asshole Dad, Cool Grandpa, and that's always stuck in my head. That's exactly how I'm gonna be. So
very nice.
but I actually texted my daughter the other day and I said, so I'm going to be the one that buys the baby their favorite stuffed animal, like the one that they have to have all the time. Like that's what's going to come from me. And I said, but I have this fear that something's going to happen to it. So I'm buying everything in duplicate. So like 2:00 in the morning, like, Dad, Colby's out of town for work and we left the stuffy in the car. The baby won't quit crying. And I can cruise over and walk in and go, bam, replacement stuffy, and then be like, honey, go to sleep. Grandpa's got this. And then I can give the baby the stuffy and rock him or her to sleep. Like that's the kind of grandpa I want to be. So that's what I'm shooting for.
And did you decide on your grandpa name? Are you going to be Gramps, Pop, Papa? So, what are we going with?
I'm Gramps and Pops are the two that I've selected. I'm leaning towards Pops, but I'm also going to let baby decide. If baby decides to call me Pooh Head, I'll call them Lil Pooh. Like, I don't care. Like, so my wife wants to be Granny, but with a Southern accent. So Granny. So I'm like, hey, you got to do you. So our nieces and nephews couldn't say auntie. So they all call my wife Titi, which is pretty ironic if you've seen my wife. Anyways, so when my nephew was born on my side, I'm trying to get him to call me Pee-Pee. My sister's not a fan of it, but it's super fun for me. So, but
somehow my dad, from my nieces and nephews, they call him Pie Pie. I have no, I know there's a reason where that came from. I just don't remember what it is. And yeah, that's weird to me.
And it's funny too, because at the end of the day, I'm not thinking about it in terms of, well, I'm only 40. I'm not going to be a grandpa. Like, you can't call me grandpa. Like a lot of like my wife is like, the thing wants to call me grandma. I'm fine being a grandma. My mom was like, I want to be a Mimi. Her mom was, I want to be a Mimi because they weren't old enough to be grandmas, which again, that's your journey. You want to call me grandpa? Call me grandpa. I don't care. So, and thank you to everybody for all the congratulations in the chat. I greatly appreciate it. So I was actually sitting right here, and my daughter and my son-in-law came over and they stopped by, and I was playing a game of Call of Duty, and my wife's like, hey, are you coming out here? I'm like, yeah, I'm just finishing up my game. Like, I got to exfil, right? I'm not going to just lose all my stuff. And I'm playing. And so finally my daughter's like, Dad, are you coming out? I said, yeah, let me exfil. It's fine. So I walk out there, she looks at me and she goes, geez, I've been out here 30 minutes waiting to tell you that you're going to be a grandpa. And I was like, and I was like, in this moment, like I almost like Chris Farley cartwheeled like through the living room, and then so my wife picks up on it, and it was an awesome moment. So we're super happy for him, but
beautiful. Well, let's go ahead and pull up this giveaway. So we got 62 people in here. We got 41 entries. We're going to give this like 10 more seconds. We're going to let Jesse read this thing that he pulled up that he just took down. And then after that, we're going to spin this wheel.
So is this Chris? Hey, Pete, Jesse, and Curtis. Super happy to see the Saber-Tooth selected. Thanks so much, guys. That was the Battle Beast, right?
Yeah. Yep. Hey, where'd that head come from?
Yeah. I was just going to say,
if you don't mind telling us. And thank you, Saint, for the congratulations. But yeah, we were curious as to where that head came from.
Joe Gonzalez too. My grandkids better call me grandfather. What's for supper, grandfather? Okay.
Come sit on the Davenport with grandfather. I like that. I can get behind that.
And one more, we got a super chat from Brian Lynn, Carver Customs. Before we spin this wheel, says, thank you guys for promoting this bot. Really means the world to me. And you know what, Brian, like, it's easy to promote stuff that's great for great people. We talked about it earlier with Nate Strong, just how great he is, but he's also talented. Same goes for you. I love this thing personally. That's why I contacted you immediately and placed my order. And I hope other people do as well, because I think this thing is awesome. And I love your creativity here. Anytime that somebody can do something very unique like this and they have a dream to do something, they actually do it. That's cool. So All right, Jesse, let's
Yes.
spin this thing and see who
All
gets
right.
this Char 71 bot.
All right. And well, before I spin it, I just want to say Chris says he got it on eBay from Japan or China.
Oh, okay.
He'll shoot either you or I the link if anyone wants to order one.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So we're going to spin this wheel. We got 60 viewers, 47 entries, spinning for Carver's Char 71 bot.
Rick Emmert.
Rick Emmert.
Congrats, Rick. That's an awesome
Congrats,
pickup,
Rick.
man.
Very nice. So just reach out to Brian Lynn on Facebook or Carver Customs on Instagram, and he will get you all set up, man. Or if you want, you can message him, and he's going to be at MuskeCon next week. And if you want to come, Rick, you can pick it up there. So there you go. Beautiful.
I'm gonna see what I can't do about getting my hands on one or two of those, because I think that would be a phenomenal addition to our Mythical Midwest meetup as a little giveaway. So
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah. Beautiful. So what time for people that are attending the event? So Friday's just set up in the Mythic meetup. So there's no shopping on Friday.
Nope.
So Saturday, what time do the doors open?
Doors open at 10, kick you out at 5. So,
Okay. All right.
I got to say thank you for that as someone who's going to be helping as a vendor. I'm probably still going to be up at 6 o'clock just because I'm in that mode. But like ZoloCon, I think we were there between like 7 and 8 for, to kick the day off and make sure everything was running. And Allegiance Con's fairly early in the morning. So having a nice easy 10 o'clock, that's nice.
Well, and and it's always been 10. And the vendor hall opens at 7, just because with a one-day show, there's a lot of people that like to come in the morning. I was surprised. I actually this year asked ahead of time, hey, do you plan on setting up Friday or Saturday? Doesn't have to be set in stone, but just to get an idea, right? And the time I changed is it used to go to 6, and it's just by 5, it's plenty good. And then people can actually get their booth packed up. If they've got to travel to get home, that hour really can make a huge difference, especially for somebody that needs to get a meal and fill up the truck or whatever. And so 10 to 5 has been kind of a sweet spot for us. And but like I said, we open up at 7 for those people that need to come and do their entire booth setup in the morning. But for guys like you, like I said, you'll spend a little time Friday night. You can come in at 9 o'clock in the morning, touch up a couple things, move a blanket, and you're off and running. That's good stuff.
Excellent.
We got a super chat, $1.99 from Purple Gang. Kirk heard us say lavender. Jay hits you after the CS. That is because we were talking today about Jesse kind of being in an abusive relationship with me, and yes, I will reach out. I'm not going to suffer in silence. I'm tired of that. So, anything, Jesse? Nothing.
No, because like I'm trying to just take this in the playful tone it is and not actually get defensive and bring up all my childhood trauma and dump all of that. So
all right,
just roll with it.
Well, I did have another comment starred that I wanted to bring up from Trevor Williams. We were talking earlier about his photo bomb. He actually has one tomorrow night. So this would be for photos. It's once a month. So tomorrow will be the ones from February. And he's got a good friend of our show on there. Jesse Fireisen is going to be on with him. So yeah, tune in to 16 Shooter on YouTube tomorrow and check that out. Jesse's a great photographer as well. Does some amazing photos. And we'll get to see what their selections were from February and who they picked out. And if nothing else, like even if you have no interest in like getting into photography or anything, so you don't need to know all the ins and outs, just seeing the selections that they make helps you to add some more cool stuff to your Instagram. And I tell you what, since watching Trevor's show once a month, my Instagram feed has gotten like light years more impressive. I go into Instagram and it's like cool thing after cool thing. And it's mostly because of Trevor. So
Trevor is also one of those guys that's super humble. And we all talk about how great he is. Trevor will never talk about how great he is. If I'm a toy photographer and Trevor Williams has a monthly show and he posts one of my pictures, to show the world, that's got to be like Michael Jordan complimenting your jump shot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just, I feel like I look at him and I kind of feel like, for me, that's where it all started.
Mm.
You know, like I kind of feel like he's the beginning of. There's no way that there's not 100 toy photographers on Instagram right now that can't say, hey, you know what? I saw Trevor, I saw 1/6 shooter, I saw this, and it kind of inspired me. And people that did photography and were collecting all of a sudden went, oh my gosh, I can take pictures of my collection. I just, like I said, I think the world of him as well, and him and Nate, man, they're just a dynamic duo. When
Yeah,
it
I mean,
comes to their show and photography and just good dudes to boot.
yeah, I would say that Trevor's one of a kind, but we really do have Nate Strong to back him up if anything ever happens to him. So,
right.
Yeah, we'll just slide Nate right into that spot. A lot of people won't even notice. He'll still show up to events and stuff, and people will be like, "Hey, Trevor." So
let's be honest. If Nate put on a sticker on his shirt that says "Hello, my name is Trevor," most people would be like, "Hey, Trevor."
yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things.
I mean, he has Nate stand at his booth at Legion's Con when he walks and goes and shops at the other tables, and I'm sure half the people think that he is Trevor. We got a $2 super chat from Eddie for Jesse Goat Love. There's Jesse's goat.
I have to leave it in arm's reach of the show now.
And you're going to be bringing that goat to MuskeCon, right?
I'll bring it to the shows with me too.
Somebody
nice.
want to explain that to me?
Jesse has this goat, the one that's next to him there, and when he hits the button, the goat like dances and makes noises, and it just makes Jesse like cackle. So
I don't know how it got into Mark Rivera does Mark Star Media. He sculpted a ton of heads over at Legion Shop. Whoa, Danny. Sorry, with the $50 super chat. Please give a tooth. Oh, see, apparently last week he was telling everybody on the Purple Gang show that I pulled his tooth out in the night. Yeah, or something like that. But the goat, real quick, it was a gift from my buddy Mark. He asked if I like goats. I said yes, and like a couple weeks later, I get this in the mail. It's from him and his parents, and it's a Christmas gift.
That's cool. That's super cool. It's like a headbanging goat. Like
it shakes. It wobbles around on the, like you put it on the table and it shakes and wobbles. I have another one from some friends here. Does a different song, but at the end it like pushes itself up and falls. It does the fainting goat thing.
Okay.
But they're both Christmas ones. I don't know why they're Christmas ones, but. And it
so
just,
now
I had it on the show one night. It made me laugh. They grabbed a clip of it. So it just looks like I'm going like this on the camera.
And so now he has to bring it to all the shows with him because, people want to see it. They want to see the goat. So
that's awesome. So real quick, I due to some changes. No, it's not. Sorry. 1/6 shooter. Ridiculous my ass. So the hope is, I know you guys are doing Wolf King, but you guys are going to be bringing some of your own stuff now as well, correct? Is my hope. Fingers crossed. So
I am going to be bringing some capes from Darla. I do not have anything. I'll probably have some customs that I'll bring with me for show because I'm actually handing them off to Jesse to take back to Len for some other shows that Len's doing. But they're not going to be for sale. But I will have capes for sale. Jesse, I believe, is going to have some heads for sale. Correct, Jesse?
Yeah, I'll have heads. I'm working on more. What I took to Zolicon that didn't sell and stuff I'm not finished with, I'll have. I just painted this guy up today. It's not fully finished yet, but let me get the right setting. Len has these cool translucent green heads now.
Oh, that one looked cool. I saw the picture of it.
Oh, wow.
So I got a little light under there so it glows, but like there's a little rig you can do, or I know some people have sold some bodies with LED plugs in them, but yeah, there it is without the light on it. So I had to go Durgar Gray for you, Curtis.
I appreciate that.
but it's all green, and then you just left the stones out. So I'll probably have, I don't know, close to 20 or 30 heads or so. I'll have some customs to show off. I'm gonna have my customized Furious 4 with me. Even though they're not all Wolf, I'm bringing mostly Wolf King stuff for sale, but I'll have my Furious 4 that has stuff from a variety of shops. So,
well, in that row, Retro Rags, obviously the T-shirt for Mythic Legions, right?
Mhm.
The 4 Horsemen, and then you got Eric Miller, and you've got Wolf King Customs, and with Stephen Bisciotti and Jesse and Curtis, you've got Frank Lira. And then you've got Dusty Staniford with Cabal Creations, and because of a couple of text messages just now, Carver Customs is also going to be at the end of that row. So
Very
super
nice.
cool. I was bummed out. A good friend of mine, his daughter's actually turning 21, and they're going to Pittsburgh that weekend. And so I set those aside just for a rainy day. And I was like, you know what? There's no better rainy day than the Lins. So I'm super excited they're interested. And so yeah, that we're gonna have a you guys are gonna bring it. It's gonna be a strong mythic and cosmic presence, which makes me incredibly happy. So
we were talking about Schmerberger earlier. He says, "Are Darless Capes online, Curtis?" I'm not sure if I can make a MuskeCon. Unfortunately, they are not. There are 2 places that you can get them. One is MuskeCon and one is LegionsCon. So hopefully you can make it to one of those. We will definitely have them at both of those shows. And appreciate Van says Heartless Capes are amazing. She's been working real hard. She's got some cool new colors that she's going to have specifically for MuskeCon. And I think people will be pretty excited about them. So yeah, it'll be fun.
And speaking of Brett Stoddard's photography, which is amazing, he is my transportation and road trip buddy to MuskeCon. So he is what's making my presence there possible.
Yeah, I just hope that
my car almost died driving to ZoloCon last week, so there's no way it's driving to MuskeCon.
I just hope it's not a snowstorm like last year. Last year I was coming up to MuskeCon, and it was like I was flying in the Millennium Falcon with the stars racing by me. The snow was coming down so fast. And then I talked to Steven when I got into town, and he's like, I was like, man, I've never seen it snow that hard. He's like, yeah, it'll all be gone in the morning. I'm like, dude, no way. And then morning hit, like by 10, 11 o'clock, it was all gone. I'm like, what the heck is this state?
It was 60 plus today. Clear skies, beautiful.
Wait,
I don't think
in Missouri.
It not where it like comes and goes that quick. No, like it was was like a blizzard, and then the next morning it's all gone. Like I'm like, what is this?
Last Sunday we had a 50-degree swing overnight. I got home from the station Sunday night, 72 degrees. Woke up the next morning, it was 22.
Yeah.
But no, I do not think that we're gonna get any snow.
Jinkies.
It's concerning for me at my day job, because we count on 2 to 3 foot of snow to slowly melt and saturate the ground. And when that doesn't happen, what that means is we chase brush and woodland fires all spring long.
Gotcha.
So I was really hoping we would get, at least some cover to try and stave some of that off. But we have the potential of a pretty rough spring if we don't get something, and it's not looking good. So.
Oh man.
Alexander Deshaw, another Michigan boy. It's lake effect up here. So
yep, and he's right. So that line I just mentioned, Drunk Gizmo, is right across from Eric Miller. Boom, right there. All of his great fountains, all that stuff is good stuff.
It was cool last year because Alexander's son had painted up some turtles, and then he had gotten to take a picture with his turtles with Eric Miller's turtles.
Yeah.
And that was just seeing stuff like that, man, really warms your heart. It was awesome. So.
When I posted a picture, during setup, I looked over and I caught my son. He had pulled up a chair, was sitting on it sideways with his arms on the back, just staring into Eric Miller's case. And I posted it on Facebook. Like, you guys want to talk about how stunning Eric Miller is? My son is just sitting and staring into his case.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh man.
All right.
Oh shoot! I just had a thought and it left me. I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, that's fine. Pete, anything that you're watching or into lately? Anything you're reading, playing, watching?
So yeah, I'm reading. I've always got a book going. I'm
Mhm.
actually a pretty avid novel reader. Um, None of my big authors. I got a Kindle not too long ago just because I don't have space, and I'm never that guy that rereads a book.
Mhm.
And I found an author um, that I really like, true crime FBI stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but my wife and I, of course, binged Reacher season 2. I've been a Lee Child fan for 20 years and
Mhm.
read the books as soon as they come out. I have never, I'm not sure I've ever seen a character brought to life the way that they brought him to life. I could not be happier with their casting and how that's going. We just finished season 4 of True Detective Night Country, which I
Mhm.
thought was incredible. Um, but yeah, we don't have, we're kind of back into our, the rookie Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Blue Bloods. We're kind of back into that rotation. Those shows obviously were all delayed because of the writer strike.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, yeah, other than that, I bought another book on serial killers and psychopaths. And I'm reading through that just because that's very interesting to me. But
I'm glad
yeah,
you brought
playing
up
a lot of.
the Chicago series because I've always wondered like how accurate is that stuff. So like when you watch like Chicago Fire, like I mean, is there stuff where you're like, okay, they really nailed this, and then other
Yeah,
stuff they're like they're way off base?
yeah. I mean, but you have to the experience can totally be ruined if you try and make it real, right?
Mm,
So one of the big things that most people don't realize is the SCBA mask. So when they're inside the fire and they've got their air pack on,
mm,
those masks are 8 or 9 inches longer than what we wear because every one of those actors is gorgeous. So they have special masks so you can see their entire face because they're actors.
mm.
And the biggest thing that you're going to see in anything firefighting is when you're inside of a burning building, you can't see shit because it's all smoke. I mean,
Right.
you're literally blind when you're and I just taught search and rescue and firefighter survival at the fire academy 2 weekends ago,
Mm,
and I'm literally teaching these students to just close their eyes because when you're in there, you're straining to see. You're never going to see anything. Just close your eyes and use your feel because it's all you have anyways. But like they have a down power line on a car and they lasso it with a piece of rope. Like we don't do that. If there's a down, if you're Curtis, if you get into an accident in my jurisdiction and there's a down power line on your car, I'm gonna stand there and go, sir, don't move, stay in your vehicle. Consumers is on the way. And I'm going to wait for the power company to get there and they're going to cut the power. And then when they say it's safe, then we're going to get you out of the vehicle. So some of that stuff is far fetched, but I enjoy the character development and the story writing. I don't think a lot of people know, but if you are a Chicago Fire fan, on the squad, so Kelly Severide runs the squad unit.
mhm,
The short guy, and I can never remember his name, always wears a backwards ball cap. So you've got Cap, the bald guy, and then you've
mm.
got he's a Chicago firefighter.
Oh,
So
okay.
he is their kind of expert, and he helps them keep things in line, and actually has a role in the show. But yeah, he actually is a full time firefighter for the Chicago Fire Department.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
I think from a chief's perspective, because I drive a vehicle very similar to Chief Bowden.
Mm.
His is an Explorer, mine's a Tahoe, so it's a little bit bigger and better. But he like drives around like in his gear and like he'll get out and like have his helmet on. Have you ever tried to drive a vehicle with a fire helmet on? It's ridiculous. But no, other than that, just it's one of those things. Enjoy it for what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's you know, I really enjoy it, like I said, and it's something that the wife and I watch together. We sit down and we get into it. And her favorite show of all time is Chicago PD.
Yeah.
And
That's a
so like
good
I
one.
said, we do that. We just make it when you're as busy as we are and you've got so much going on to be able to just sit on the couch and kind of just be brainless for a couple episodes of TV and enjoy it. It's good quality
Well,
time well spent.
I mean, that's some good insight with the not being able to see in the fire and all this and that. And I'm sure that, firefighting stuff is really important. But really, I think what people want to know is, sitting around the firehouse. Is it as cool as it looks?
It
Playing
is.
games, watching TV, playing cards, doing potlucks.
It
Like,
absolutely is. The thing that most people don't realize is so my department only has one person on at a time.
okay.
So during the day, myself and my deputy chief are there, and we have an administrative assistant. Every third day we have 2 people on, but every other day is just 1. So, but we sit down every day and make lunch, and we all sit at the table together and break bread and have conversations. The firehouse is a really, really special place. And we moved into our brand new, we built a brand new 13,000 square foot facility just after I became the chief. And it's amazing. We've got a nice big day room, and like I said, we cook and we sit down and break bread. But yeah, after 4 or 5 o'clock, there's only one person there for the rest of the night. So dinners are, we don't have 3 fully staffed units in our station. Chicago Fire, I think, runs like 500,000 calls a year.
Oh, wow.
We run 1,300. So
Slightly different.
Slightly different, absolutely. So, and the amount of fires, we don't have, I think we had 12 fires last year, and that includes mutual aid, which is where a neighboring department calls us, but we run primarily medical. So we run 85% first response before the ambulance.
We got a message here from Christopher Kelly that says, hanging out at the fire department is cool, but it's probably nowhere near as exciting as the water department.
So for those of you that don't listen to the Wife's Gonna Kill Me podcast, the host of our show is a water superintendent for a township in a city. And he constantly talks about how he's more important than I am because we can't fight fire without water, and he makes sure the water gets to us. And he's right. What are you going to say? I guess it's,
I mean, but he's also a lord and a World War II reenactor. So,
with a military tattoo and never served. So.
Right.
But no, speaking of tattoos, man, shout out David Williams. Nate Barch's art right there in my arm.
So, yeah, he did 2 of those at Legion's Con.
Yeah, fucking Steve.
I'm going to bring this up real quick just because this is literally right across the street from me, and I hear the alarms all the time. But that is the Washington Firehouse right across the street from my apartment building here in Mechanicsburg. I'm hoping yours is a little cooler, more modern, maybe.
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you, that to me is cooler. There is so much tradition and history in that building.
Oh, sure.
That tower most likely had a bell in it at one time, and that's how they notified that there was a fire. Like, people heard the bell and they came running. And it's probably also doubled as a hose tower. So like that's how you dry your hose. You just run it up and you let it hang and let it dry.
Nice.
Okay.
But yeah, ours is a very modern facility and it's beautiful. Like I said, 13,000 square feet. We have 8 drive-through bays. It's beautiful, and it was one of the first things that we did when I became the chief. And so there's a lot to be proud of in building a new station. And everybody always asks, do you guys have a fire pole? Well, no, we don't have a fire pole because it's only a 1-story station. But the insurance companies, man, hate fire poles, absolutely hate them, because they're like paying out. Like, you got guys that are going into burning buildings. They're not getting hurt. They're getting hurt sliding down the stupid pole. So they get like workers' comp injuries because people don't slide down the pole correctly.
Oh gosh.
But around here, in Grand Rapids, actually, one of the outlying stations put in a swirly slide, so it still kind of had the tradition of sliding down to the apparatus bay floor, but it wasn't the pole, so it was a lot less risky, except for like you're full of static when you get down to the bottom. So kind of a way to to be traditional, but more new school.
Awesome. And I have one of those. I'm sure if anybody here has been to school or like a shop where they have those big like metal rollers that you pull like the craft paper off or something, like to wrap something, those work with plastic bags. So every time I go to pull one of those down to like wrap up a piece of art that I've just finished, I have to I'm just tapping the metal like as I'm pulling it, because like if I don't, like, and I touch something metal, like it's just like
right.
Doc
you gotta
Brown.
ground yourself.
Yeah.
Jesse's hair goes straight up in the air.
Yeah, I don't do anything dangerous. I just frame artwork and get shocked.
I don't, but dude, I don't do anything very dangerous anymore either. A lot of the stuff that I used to do, of course, my staff handles. So I'm out in the yard. Like I'm like Bowden, he's on the outside talking to the radio and, telling people to give him a report when they don't answer. And so it's fun. I enjoy it, but there's a small piece of me that when we do training burns, I always, my new guys go in with me just so I can get in there and be part of that experience for them. but I definitely do miss some of the aspects of being a firefighter. But there's a lot of things that I get to do now that I never got to before. So it's been very fun. The last 3 years have been very, very fulfilling in my day job. So.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
What about, I know you play games. You do some Call of Duty, some first person shooter type stuff. Not sure if you're into Halo, or there's that new series on Paramount Plus. Have you checked that out, or any interest in that?
I mean, I haven't. It's on the list for my son and I to watch. I've never played Halo, but I am extremely excited for Fallout.
Okay.
Because that's my favorite game of all time. Fallout 4 specifically, my favorite game of all time. But like we watched Twisted Metal, which I never really played either, because I had a Sega Saturn. I didn't have a PlayStation at that time, and I really enjoyed that series, even though I'd never played the game. And I thought, but I knew enough from pop culture that it'd be one of those situations where like they still paid like great homage at the end of the series. I thought was super cool. It's absolutely my pleasure, Dario. I'm honored to be able to do it. I appreciate it. So.
Yeah, I mean that I played Halo one time, literally for like 5 minutes. Went to California to visit the kids and played with my son, and like this is the only time I ever played. But I've been watching the series on Paramount Plus, and it's really good. If you've got Paramount Plus, I would definitely advise checking it out.
Yeah, I got them. I got them all. I don't know how it happened, but I have every streaming service available under the sun now. And I'm not sure that I am even saving money over cable anymore. So
have you seen that meme going around where it's like, this is exactly how I imagined watching TV in the future? I spend like 30 minutes checking all the dozen streaming services I pay for to see if the movie I want to watch is in its 1 month window on which channel.
Right.
So much easier than buying a DVD.
Yeah, I'm constantly Googling where is what and what streaming. The one thing, if I could ask for a favor from all the people watching, I've been trying to find Surf Ninjas. It's streaming nowhere, because I think my kids would enjoy that. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And so if anybody ever finds out where Surf Ninjas is streaming, please let me know. It is available on YouTube, but it's super low quality and very difficult to watch.
I don't know what Surf Ninjas is. What is that?
What? So Kino, right? From Turtles 2, the pizza delivery driver. It's him, his little brother, and his best friend. It's Rob Schneider, like when he was like almost a teenager.
Yeah.
And basically like these ninjas attack, and the little brother's playing a video game, and what's happening in the game is coming. It's just awesome. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets Three Ninjas meets, it's awesome,
There you go.
If you still have a working VHS, you are the man.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, I mean that sounds interesting. You got a couple people saying that they like Surf Ninjas. I'd never heard of it, but Dusty's saying I got to watch it. So yeah. So if somebody finds it, let us know, and I'll check it out too. Beautiful.
I see it on eBay ranging from anywhere from $7 for the VHS to $25 for the DVD.
I'm gonna end up having to just buy it on DVD. I think I had to do that with Rad, which is my all-time favorite movie ever, Rad BMX. And I bought it bootlegged out of Canada, and it's on Prime. I bought it on Prime, so I have it there as well. My wife hates it. Absolutely. There's so many, like I literally just talked about how like we make watching TV like an experience and spending time together, but you would be surprised. U.S. Marshals, The Rock, Con Air, like she hates all of that, and I watch it all the time. So.
Why didn't you just put the bunny back in the box?
So I literally just went off the other day on somebody's post. Rudy Garza, a toy collector from the other side of the state, and it was, I don't remember what it was. It was an oatmeal raisin cookie, and I got super pissed, and I was like, "Don't call that a cookie. It's a crappy breakfast with not chocolate covered raisins in it. Don't that's like giving me a Yoo-hoo when I ask for chocolate milk, or giving me Sunny D. If I'm asking for orange juice, like that's not a thing." So I like totally was like in the I'm like, I said it's a lie pie. It's not a cookie. And then I totally went off, and I'm like, in the immortal words of Brigadier General Francis X. Hummel, I've choked on these lies my entire career, and here and now the lies stop. Just brilliant Ed Harris in that movie. And I was like, I can almost always find a way to slide a movie line in somewhere. I mean, I literally pulled lines from The Rock over an oatmeal raisin cookie. So
I do, but like they're so random when I think of them. I'm like, no one is gonna get this, and I say it, and everybody just looks at me like, "What is wrong?" It's from a movie, and they're like, "Okay."
Johnny 23 if they knew the no, he's Johnny 24. He'd be Johnny 600 if they knew the truth. Dusty, come on. If you're gonna come at me, come correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
Burger says he loves oatmeal raisin cookies. I do as well, sir.
So do I. I don't disagree with your comparison of asking for chocolate milk and getting a Yoo-hoo or wanting orange juice and getting a Sunny D. But I love all of those things, so any of them would make me happy.
Oh, yeah. Don't hand me chocolate water and try to tell me it's chocolate milk. No, thank you.
And yes, if you have not seen Turbo Kid, you would probably get a kick out of that.
I will jot that down.
It's like this post-apocalyptic future movie, but it's low budget, and it's just this kid. Everybody's riding around on like dirt bikes, not like motorized dirt bikes, like pedal dirt bikes. So it's like this chase scene where these adults are chasing this kid down on like dirt bikes, and it's like Mad Max on dirt bikes, but it's like the future. It's 1997, and the world is falling apart. It's hilarious.
That makes me think of that movie, The Dirt Bike Kid. Whereas like dirt bike comes to Ready Bills, it comes to life. Good stuff.
And it's incredibly violent. Like
back in the 80s, like every vehicle came to life in something.
Right.
Yeah. They had trucks coming to life, sports cars coming to life, everything.
Raisins on a bed of raisins. I think that's just called wine.
Yeah.
So Peter, before we let you go, we're rounding up to 2 hours, but there was something I couldn't let you go without asking you. In the cabal, we got some things that happen in the cabal. We got people that miss out on things that are for sale. We've got people that end up with some broken toys. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. There's sometimes it can go sideways real quick. Put on your cabal admin hat for the day. You're admin for a day. How do you make the cabal better? What do you do?
Delete it. Raise it just right to the ground and start fresh.
Okay.
And then nobody but me gets to pick who gets let back in. No, at the end of the day, I truly think that, and I rant and rave about this stuff all the time. And truth be told, if my biggest problem in my life is somebody posting something stupid in the cabal, like I've got a pretty good life, right? If you guys were to establish a true FAQ section, and it was, hey, here's the deal. Somebody posts that stuff, and you post and you private message them and say, I deleted your post, go to the FAQ, it's all there. I think that would alleviate so many issues in the cabal. It's the insurance companies like, hey, the doctor is telling you what you need to do to get healthy, and the insurance company is saying, well, we don't cover that. Well, I got to do with the insurance company to figure out what the doctor needs to do. No. The doctor just handles it and tells me what I need. I take my medicine and I'm fine. We need to get this all out of there. And if you have a figure that broke, that sucks, man. Like I don't care who you are. I don't care how it broke. Whether you broke it broke on its own. That sucks. Nobody wants to get a broken toy. But you complaining in the cabal doesn't do you any good. And I'm sorry. Read the comments, folks. If the first comment on that post says email customer service and gives a link to Store Horseman, I don't need 14 other people telling them to email customer service. They know. Somebody already told them, folks. It's like people live or die on whether or not they get to be the one to tell the guy to go to customer service. Knock it off.
But what if I see that post and they broke their figure? Like, what if I just go on and just ask them if they heated it up? Isn't that important for me to go on and ask them that question?
there's a fine line between asking a question. So one of the things my wife likes the least about me, one of the things that my kids like the least about me is asking questions I know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you do the dishes? And my kid looks at me. If they were done, I wouldn't be asking, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go do the dishes. I feel like people want to generate conversation. Like, if you don't know to heat them up and you're new, that's fine. Somebody's going to tell you to heat them up. But in that circumstance, there's an FAQ, what to do with figures with tight joints. And hey, this is how you do it. Heat them up. Here's a link to the instructions at Store Horseman. But we need to like have some teeth. When the person posts for the 9th time, like, hey, I can get anybody get their shipping notice yet? I don't care if you got your shipping notice, and everybody wants to be the first one to post. If it were up to me, and this is just me, like I said, I'm admin for a day. When the horseman reveals something, there is one person that posts that reveal in the cabal, and that's Jeremy Gerard. I don't need people quick grabbing screenshots and posting, because next thing you know, there's 19 crappy pictures of something that if you would have waited 9 seconds, Gerard would have posted, and it would have had all of the details, not 9,000 questions about it because you posted it too quick before anybody was able to answer that. Like, in my personal opinion, knock it off. Let the horsemen do the reveals and share the information and keep it all in that thread. So
But what if there's a sale though, and I buy a certain amount of figures and I need to share it with everybody on what I actually purchased?
I should probably then punch you square in the face at MuskeCon. Go ahead, keep baiting me, Curtis.
I'm just wondering.
But like I said, it's one of those things where it's just, I go to the cabal because of those pictures you guys showed earlier, right? I want to see a shot by Trevor. I want to see an awesome painting by you guys or Eric Miller. I want to see a cool new sculpt by Steven. I want to see this awesome, crazy new homage that Emil Vickman did. Like, that's why I go to the cabal. If people have genuine questions, which does happen, answer those questions and then move on. I don't need to read 47 comments of people answering the same question. And it clutters up the good stuff. And I'm telling you right now, you have a situation where it's difficult to manage a group with 5,000 people in it, period, end of story, right? Yes. And I probably could run against the current people, because one is heading to prison and the other one has been dead for 3 years. They've been weekending Bernie and Biden around. But it just like I said, it just clutters things up, and it's hard to control 5,000 people doing anything ever. And I just need people to we just miss good stuff. You literally, if you go in there, like somebody sends me a screenshot and says, hey, somebody posted this 4 minutes ago, and I get in there and it takes me 10 minutes to find it, because that one awesome post got buried by everybody else's BS, and you're never going to get rid of all of it. But I think if you create an environment within the cabal that gives those people and when you sign up for the cabal, hey, be advised, these are the rules. We don't flame people here. We don't get on people here. We act like a family. We take care of each other. If in the event you have a question, comment, or concern, click the FAQ. If you don't find resolution, feel free to post and see what people have to say. And are people going to do that? No, not everybody's going to, but a lot of people will. And it might just thin out and let us get back to what we all came for the cabal for. Because I can tell people till I'm blue in the face, well, there's so much more breakage now. Well, they sold more figures, guys. If you have 10 figures and one breaks, it's 10%. If you have 1,000 figures and 10 break, it's all numbers, right? It's like it's a relativity game, and the more you sell, the more you're going to have break. This is no different than any other. People have said, well, there's so many more terrible people in the world now. You see it all over the news. Well, yeah, because 200 years ago, nobody got on their horse and rode to the next town to talk about the guy who was butchering people out behind the barn. We've always been there. We just know about it now, and that's all that creates. And what it does is, my biggest fear, and we talked about it this morning, is if we allow that negativity, some of these new people are going to go, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not sure I want to get into this line if everybody's having their figures break. Now, those people are missing out on an amazing opportunity to collect an amazing line because we let 10 people post the same broken thing. And we know damn well half of them were so excited they just ripped the stupid thing off, you know? So, like I said, that's my thing. And I try to, if you're ever curious about it, I go into a little bit more in depth on my show because I can use more 4-letter words to describe some of these people. But um, it just it's such a great it's a standard situation of one bad apple can spoil the bunch, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm telling you guys, there's gonna get to a point where somebody's finally gonna get fed up, and we're gonna have the Mythic Legion's new cabal, and you're gonna have a core group of people that are gonna move, and that cabal is gonna get abandoned and eventually go by the wayside. That new cabal is gonna build in popularity. It's gonna end up right where the cabal was. Then somebody's gonna do the new cabal. I mean, just in my town alone, we have Whitehall, Michigan News and Views, Views and News, Whitehall, Michigan, Whitehall, Michigan Friends and blah, blah, blah. Because people go, well, they didn't let me post about my small business. I'm going to start my own group. So now I've got 6 community groups by 6 people that all hate each other. And I have to police all that because people post about the fire department. I've got to jump in there and, just last week, somebody posted on there, rumor has it the Whitehall fire chief will not allow Aldi's to come into that old Plums complex. We have an abandoned grocery store in our town. And I posted up and I said, hey, that is 100% false. Well, how do you know? Because I'm the Whitehall fire chief. That's how I know. And so I have to be in these groups for my job, and I just sit there and I pull what little hair out I have left, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the cabal, but it's just the city. It happens in every Facebook group. The cabal's not nearly as bad as some of them. I mean, there have been some toxic ones that I've just completely blocked because I'm like, man, these people are worse than I am, and that's me saying that. So,
Yeah,
but no,
I totally get what you're saying, and I will say, if I will say, just in the short time that I've been an admin, it's not nearly, it's a lot harder than what it looks, for sure, from the outside.
oh, absolutely.
And like you said, 5,000 people, it's very difficult. One thing that, we have instituted new rules, and that has been very helpful at keeping some of the drama and some of that out of there. I do like your idea about creating like a central post for a new reveal or a new, a sale or whatever, because I think that could keep some of that together. And I hope that we can do that at some point. I think that at the end of the day, it's like, just be good to each other. Like, pull up this comment
right
here.
there, exactly.
Yeah, he says, I brought up a QC issue on a Cosmic Legion figure. Yes, I did follow instructions. There's no need for folks to be rude to me. Yes, I followed up with an email to 4 Horsemen. So I don't know what this gentleman's post was like. If it's just, hey, had this QC issue, anybody know what I should do or whatever. If that's all it was, then yeah, there's no reason for, just somebody should just posted, hey, here's the customer service line, and that should be it. That should be all there is to it.
Right.
There's no reason for somebody to be rude. I don't know what your post was. Your post could have been, shitty. And if your post was shitty and then people responded to you shitty, then that's kind of a back and forth. But yeah, if it was just simply, I had a QC concern and then people were rude to you, it doesn't need to be. But it's almost like people are itching to say negative things. I was talking about somebody earlier today, and it wasn't with Mythic Legions. It was with a Mondo figure. And he was complaining. Another person was excited to get this new Mondo Beastman. Just it's like his favorite character. He's excited to get it. And they were talking in the comments. Him and another person were talking in the comments about this figure. And this other person jumps in and they're like, well, I hope you don't mind the smell of it and all this and that, because there is, like, when you first open up that Beastman, there's a smell to it because it's a lot of plastic in a box that's shipped to you from China. And so when you open it up for the first couple minutes, maybe even the first day, it's got a little bit of a smell to it, but it goes away. But it's like, there's been nothing but positive things said about this Beastman, with the exception of that short-term smell thing. And that's the one thing this person focused on. And that person didn't even own the figure. They don't even have it. Like, what are you doing? You're just trying to, be negative when there's no need for it. So, Thor and everybody else out there, I would say, yeah, there's no reason for anybody to be rude to you. whether you have a QC issue, whether you think that a person broke the figure on their own, it doesn't matter. Like, just be cool to one another.
Right.
So
It does, and it's not hard to be nice. It's also not hard to be mean. I find it very easy
yeah,
to be mean, but at the end of the day, you don't have to say anything at all. And that's the one thing that some people don't understand about Facebook is you don't have to post. Like, you don't have to comment. Like, you don't have to do any of those things. Now, that's incredibly hypocritical coming from me, because I'm one of those guys that's like, okay, I got to say something, like, as if I matter. But you don't have to do that. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, you guys have seen some of my posts. You've seen some of the things that I've said on social media. Yeah, I deleted 2 other ones before I posted that. You can only imagine what the first 2 said. That was what got through my filter. You know. But and like I said, I kind of steer clear of the cabal, just for the simple fact of I can't always be trusted to say the right thing at the right time. And
go ahead, Jesse.
And that's Danny said, people should have the constructive criticism spot to do that, and I agree. And like you were saying with that single thread, where that's a great place to go to it. And as much as I'm one of those people, and I know you guys are too, because we've gotten to meet Eric and Jim and Cornboy and the people that work in the studio, like all the employees that come to the shows and are literally handing you the figures as you're paying for them. It's not just random hires off the street that they're getting to work the con. Like, this is their actual staff. There's a lot of us that want to be, protective and defensive of them, because they're such cool people, and they do give us the time of day and interact with us. And so I think, not playing devil's advocate, but on the other side, for the folks that want to come in and defend, like, make sure you're doing it in the right, like, don't defend these people who are like high up in the community that created these toys in a dickish way. Like,
you can,
it's like, don't defend Captain
without
America.
attacking.
Yeah, you can defend, like, you don't have to defend Captain America by being a Nazi.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Good one.
I'm not calling anyone specifically a Nazi. That's just, and I'm not going to say it again so we don't get shut down. But like, you don't have, I mean, and again, I know I say this all the time. If you're reading something and you're upset, you might be reading the responses in an upset tone, and that's not what that person's trying to convey from the other end. Right. So maybe that's a good time to put the phone down and step back, wait a few minutes, and be like, maybe they didn't mean it that way.
Well, and even if they did, you don't know what other shit they may be going through. This may be their opportunity to maybe it's one of these situations, like Pete was saying earlier. It sucks for anybody that has a broken figure. It is a shitty situation. Maybe it's one of those where, like, hey man, this sucks. I want to go vent to my friends just so that they can have some empathy for my situation. That may be what they're trying to do. They may not be trying to bash, these creators of these toys we love so much. They may be just trying to, talk to their friends. I would probably do that within a group chat. Or I would call, be on the phone with Len or whoever and say, oh yeah, I ran into this shitty situation. But they may choose to do it that way. Just give somebody the benefit of the doubt.
The other thing that I think we take for granted is, there's a lot of toy collectors that don't have a group chat.
Yeah.
They don't have the relationships that we have. Like, they don't have people driving halfway across the country to attend their con, and looking forward to coming and hanging out and doing that. With our show, we've had so many people over the years talk about how jealous they are of West Michigan, because we have so many people that are into toy collecting. And I mean, we literally made a couple of phone calls, and we had 2 of 10 that would have dropped in a hat to come and sit in on the show this morning, and neither one of them had to drive more than an hour. And so, like I said, you get some of these people out in the middle of nowhere that don't have close friends like we have. So like I said, I probably have 9 or 10 different group messages going on my phone right now that are various little hubs of toy collectors, action figure nerd people, and some of those people maybe only have the cabal. So I get that too, because I can message you, Curtis, and I haven't been like this, bada, 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 pop, and I, and I get a laughing face, or I get a, and we've screenshotted things to each other and been like, this MF, and I, And like I said, maybe people don't have that. I have plenty of people that I can vent to. Now, sometimes when I vent to them, they tell the person I'm venting about, and the next thing you know, I got to be confronted on my podcast by them. But that's neither here nor there. So
I did want to pull up this one. Paul Zach says, I don't have Facebook, so I don't have access to Cabal. I've contemplated signing up for Facebook just for the Cabal, but hearing the negativity going on just discourages. Yeah, what I would say is what you're hearing from us is the things that we're talking about that could possibly be fixed. There still is an overwhelming amount of positivity in the Cabal to the point where, you know, it is the best toy group around. I've been in several different toy groups for several different toy lines, and it is by far the best. It has the most creative folks that just care about one another, will bend over backwards and reach out to help one another and offer advice and tips and tricks and all this kind of stuff. You know, you go to these events like Legions Con, like MuskeCon, and it is very much like a family reunion environment. So, you know, today we spent 4 hours on a customizing studio call where a bunch of us were just hanging around painting and talking and having fellowship. The pros definitely outweigh the cons. So if you're thinking about it, I would say I think you're going to find it more beneficial than not. But as with anything, there's always opportunity for improvement. So
I would relate it to the breakage. The percentage of breakage in the overall figures of Mythic Legions is the percentage of negativity to the true positivity when you really go through the Cabal. Unfortunately, it's the negative ones that sometimes take hold because Curtis Ackerman posts a pic of an awesome head that he paints, and it might get 100 likes, but maybe it doesn't get a ton of comments, right? But somebody posts something negative, and now you've got the supporters, the defenders, the snarky jerks like myself, and now all of a sudden it's got 100 comments on it, and that's going to be what's at the top of the feed every time you look. So again, my discouragement with some of the things going on in the Cabal, I've been around there a long time. It's still, if you are into Mythic Legions, it's still a great place to be, and that will never change. Can things get better? Yes, but I sure as hell don't think it's going to get worse.
Yeah. Awesome.
And you gotta. Well, I'll add on to that one little thing is like you got to prepare for the waves of the negativity because you can almost tell. So if there's a surprise drop or if there's an in stock order sale or something like that, there's usually some people that'll pipe up and just be like, "Oh, this thing I didn't know was coming out until 5 minutes ago doesn't look exactly the way I want it to look. Therefore, it's garbage." Those eventually get squashed down a week later when people start getting them a hand. Like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So
yeah, it's like the figure obscura cycle. It's like there's an announcement, everybody's excited, then everybody's making their guesses, then it comes out, and then I stay away from the Cabal for a day because there's going to be some people that are I wish it was this, and why didn't they make it that, and why did they, you know? So,
one of the most worthless posts to me. When I jump up there, I look and I go, yeah, no attachment. It's an easy pass for me. I don't care. I didn't care yesterday. I'm not going to care tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
I loved your whole story when you said it's like a guy walking into a party.
Yeah.
Just being like,
I'm just, to me, it's one of those things where that's where the FAQ comes out, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, go to there's a pinned thread for 36 hours or 48 hours. Are you excited about the new figure or not? Post it in there. Hey, what do you think it's going to be? Post it in there. Hey, what do you hope it would have been? Post it in there. And you can kind of collect those together. And like I said, maybe it just gets for every great post I see in there, I feel like I miss 5 great posts just because sometimes when those things take hold, right? Because
it is cyclical. There's a news cycle to it. So to your point, like in the figure obscura section, if it was one that was like, we had that one pin post, that one, because it keeps getting a lot of comments, is going to get thrown at the top, but it's only one post, and then you can scroll down to see the other stuff you want to see. Whereas by not doing that, it's 50 posts that are saying essentially the same thing, so.
And I will still stand by, and there's nobody that will ever be able to change my mind. I've had my post deleted more than anybody else in the Cabal, and nobody can tell me otherwise, because that is just fact. And more often than not, there's some of the funnier ones out there, because I read some of these and I'm like, okay, first off, this is a missed opportunity. Why did this stupid one not get deleted, but my hilarious one did? And I just feel like that's like people like, man, Pete is he's
I
just
will.
this overpowering shadow. We can't give him every laugh.
I
I feel
will
like it's personal.
little peek behind the curtain kind of thing here. I will say that occasionally there are some memes and things that get posted that are absolutely fucking hilarious, but they're not going to do anything to help anything in the cabal. All it's going to
Right.
do is generate a back and forth that's unnecessary.
Right.
And so those posts will typically get pulled. And you are really good at those kind of things. So, I saw one this week and it was like a meme where a guy walks in and these kids are basically playing a video game, but on the screen, instead of a video game, it said Poxus. And the guy's like, well, have you heard about all the breakage? And they're like, yeah, but we're having fun with it. Well, the quality's not as good as the last waves were, and they still enjoy playing. He's like, quit having fun, like
Right.
yelling at him. And it was a funny little meme. But, inevitably in the comments, it starts getting back and forth. And those kind of things, although it may be funny, it doesn't do anything good. There's nothing constructive can come from that.
Professionally, I am an expert in extinguishing fires. Personally, very few people know better than I do how to start and or stoke a fire on social media.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's about taking the emotion out of it, and some of those things, even though they're funny, don't do that. So, but that being said, next weekend, not this upcoming weekend, but the following weekend,
Yep.
MuskeCon is going to be your opportunity to meet some of these folks in person, spend some time with them,
Mythic
have a great
Legions,
time.
Cosmic Legions at retail. You can walk up to a table and you can pay retail price for figures. That's what the horsemen sell them for, or very close to it. And so, some of them, because sometimes obviously the pre-orders have a special pricing, but the regular standard retail pricing is what you get at the booth. They don't mark their stuff up, even though they could and make a mint. They don't. They sell them for retail price right there at the table. Walk up, get in line, pick the figures you want, pay them, they're yours. Just as if you would have, ordered them any other way, which that's super cool that they do that.
Now, I want to talk to the folks watching right now, live, on replay, whatever. If you're on the East Coast, go ahead and mute the chat real quick. You don't need to hear this. The rest of you, okay, now that I'm just talking to those guys, they'd muted. They're fucking spoiled, okay? They get this shit all the time, all right? They got a million shows a year that they can go to. We don't, okay? If you want more of this, if you want the horsemen to come to Midwest type events, if you want them to go out west, if you want them to make it somewhere besides New Jersey and the East Coast, come to MuskeCon. Support these events. Be here because this is what's going to get them to continue to do these kind of things. Okay. All right. Everybody that was on the East Coast, you can tune back in. So there you go. Hey, Jesse, how's it going? Oh, he didn't hear me that he could tune back in. Pete, any last thoughts on the event? Why people should come, what they should expect? Any spoilers or exciting things that you can drop for us?
No, just like I said, if you can make it out, it should be a good time. And I look forward to the event every year. Again, the days leading up to become a little bit stressful, but once it's rolling, it's always a good time. And I've never had a bad time at a con ever. In this one, obviously, there's a sense of pride, and with it being my show. But yeah, come out. Like I said, come out if you can. It's relatively inexpensive, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Beautiful. Well, I know I'll be there. Jesse will be there, and we're looking forward to having a great time. Pete, we really appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. Know you've had a busy week, busy weekend. It sounds like tomorrow may be another busy one for you. But yeah, appreciate you taking time to pop in and talk to some folks about MuskeCon. And man, I just hope this thing really, really blows up this year. So
yeah, me too. And I it's always fun hanging out with you guys. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on, and all the supporters for MuskeCon in there, and all the congratulations about being a grandpa, and the thank yous for being a firefighter. Like I don't know. I'm gonna I keep having to make my headset bigger.
We had a
because my
couple
head's
people
growing.
saying that they wanted you as
So-
president too. I mean,
so-
that's so.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew that going in. So, but I posted in the Why Was Gonna Kill Me group before I got on here, trying to get people to come check out the show and what have you, and to find out if I was wearing pants or not. The answer is not. I have not had pants on this entire time, so
Okay.
I'm super comfy, and so
Beautiful.
British pants or American pants?
what's the difference?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
British pants are underwear.
Oh, yeah, I've got British pants on.
Very nice.
I would be okay in the UK with what I'm wearing right now. But
beautiful.
So,
well, Pete, we appreciate it. We're gonna put you backstage. If you've got to run, that's fine. If not, hang out. We'll be right back with you as soon as we close out the show.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
And real quick, I think there was maybe some not bad terminology, but misterminology is like, 2.0 versus version 2 when people are talking about new releases of characters. So the Horsemen sell at Horsemen, like that's, I believe they call that the wholesale price. At the shows, it's a couple bucks more just because they round up for taxes. They usually just round to the Nearix thing. And then the retailers, places like Bid Bag Toy Store or any of the approved retailers, those are the retail prices. So they're usually $5, $10, $15 more depending on which figure it is. So if you're buying from the Horseman table at a show, I don't know what the MegaCon prices were there, but like it'll be a couple dollars more. So if it's a $26 builder, it's $30 on the table.
Well, what they're saying is at MegaCon they had certain figures that they jacked up the prices on because apparently as a street team you have the ability to adjust prices. So I know one of them was Valiant Knight, and there may be a couple other ones that were not like $40. They were like $50. So
and that's street team. So yeah, street teams have different. I meant like the specific 4 Horsemen table.
Yeah. So I would say that this is going to be a 4 Horsemen table. It's just Travis is going to be running it for them so that they can just enjoy their time. But even with the street team events, yes, they do have the ability. My understanding is to adjust prices if they need to. I've only seen that happen one time, which is that one event that you guys are talking about. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't know. If there's a street team event that's coming up and you want to know about pricing, you may want to just message the person that's running the street team and ask them, if they're going to have the table prices for 4 Horsemen or if it's going to be more. It would be nice to give a heads up on that. But the stuff that they're going to have at MuskeCon is going to be a 4 Horsemen table run by Travis. So it is going to be the same prices that you would have at Legion's Con or any other event that the Horsemen would be at. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully that cleared some things up for some folks. And that has me super excited for MuskeCon. Really excited. I haven't been to the Midwest in a long time, so it'll be nice to come back out that way again.
I'm excited to see you. I'm
excited
so glad that Brett is picking you up and taking you with you, because I was getting worried that I was going to have to wait till November to see you. And so, yeah, it's going to be cool. I had so much fun with the boys in their hometown last year, and having you there, Jesse, is going to make it even better. So
I guess, does Ohio count as the Midwest? I know where the term Midwest came from. It counts as that's weird. Midwest is like Ohio to like Missouri or like Kansas.
It depends on who you talk to, because some people say that Midwest is really like a vibe more than a border.
That came from when like the frontier was the West, like so from like old West days. That's where that Midwest. We've just never progressed it to be further into the middle of the country.
Right.
Anyway, if you can fit into one of Brett's body bags that he said he was bringing, by all means. We were trying to figure out how much space he had in his car for what Len was going to send with me, and he was like, "Well, I can fit about six bodies in the back, and I'll be taking up about 2 or 3 of them." So,
okay. Well, before everybody jumps off, let's pop on our thing for next week's guest, just so.
Right.
Yeah, because we do have a show next week. Even though we got a show next week.
Well, next week's not.
That's right. I know. I was
thinking
that
it
for
was.
a second. Yeah. No.
I was all day. I was thinking that. I'm like, wait, I got to do a picture.
Nope.
Next week we've got Ed's nice. Hey, Tony from Toy Locos joining us right here on Shooting the Shelf, 8 p.m. Eastern time. To talk about some toys and collecting and things. It's really cool dudes, awesome dudes. I know Ed's usually in the chat at least a little bit on the show. So yeah, we'll be seeing these guys here next Sunday night.
Alexander's asking if we're doing a live show at MuskeCon. No, we will both be racing back to do a show at home. But I think we're going to be doing it sans guest. So it's just going to be me and Jesse. But I believe that is the plan as of right now.
If something falls into place and there's someone that we can, work something out with, because we don't know when we'll be home, we might have to bump it back an hour. We'll see, depending travel and all that stuff. But we'll shoot for 8 o'clock like normal. Just but we'll let y'all know closer to that date. But yeah,
beautiful.
It'll be fun.
All right. Well, we hope to see you guys all at MuskeCon. Until then, be good to each other. Be nice. Be cool. Be purple. Choose love. And until next time.
Purple gang?
No, the other one.
The flannel gang.
Nah, the what's on,
Fuzzmonk gang.
No. What's on the things with the
what's on your shelf? No!